Thank you, Galadriel.
For bringing you here,
For saving my life.
as you saved mine. Our scales are balanced.
No. No, you've done far more than that for me. I'd all but given up. But you believed in me. You saw strength in me. You pushed me to heights that no one else could have.
Oh, obviously that was a mistake.
I will never forget that. And I'll see to it that no one else does either.
Uh-oh.
What?
The big scary guy that might as well be holding up a sign that says, I am an assassin, I'm here to kill you.
Okay, 99, you know what? That is profiling.
Just because he is large doesn't necessarily mean that he is a bad guy. Oh. Wow. That's a bad guy. That's a really bad guy. Did you see his face? You know what? I'm doing the same thing. That's profiling, and I will have none of it. Oh, darn it.
Do not be afraid, Master. The more your powers awaken, the more the veil will weaken.
Veil.
The one placed upon your mind by those who cast you down. But we have come here to welcome you in, to bring you to our lands, where you will be known at last for who you truly are. You fell from the stars, yet you are greater than they.
That was 1,000 years ago.
What took you so long?
Well, in the grand tradition of bad ideas, this might well be the worst yet.
Well, have you got a better notion?
You guys are talking so loud.
Do we care? Are we caring about that?
It's just an hour, you dumb bitch.
Oh, there's two of them.
Just look at it. Look at it with your eyes, your real eyes, not the crazy eyes.
Hey! Bandicoot! Run!
I'm gonna hug you when I get over there. Come on.
And there was much rejoicing.
Tulil men nuritas. Heru Sauron.
Later that same evening.
Hi.
You're on Undercover Boss.
Got the same eyes.
There's no answer you could possibly say right now.
No, don't, like, seriously, I don't.
There's none
Okay.
that is going to be acceptable.
Okay.
It makes no sense that you would treat someone that way. None.
Okay.
I like feet. I do not know why.
My dad could beat up your dad. Let's have a laugh party.
In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for keeps?
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame. Gone are the days of Hobbs and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello and welcome to the show, everybody. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things, and we call it Best Gen because we're all roughly from the same gen, and we happen to think that it's the best, not because we as people are better than you, but because our entertainment was. So it's time to wax nostalgic and talk about the stuff that's coming out now. There's actually not a lot to complain about this week because Rings of Power is over, everybody.
You gotta love it.
It's been a great week, guys. I didn't have to watch a new episode, so I just was working on my final meme edit video. You got a little sneak peek of that. It's longer. It's currently like 16 minutes, so look forward to the full thing tomorrow. There's a segment though that's going to get it demonetized, and I'm debating whether or not I want to pull it out and make a couple bucks on the video, but it's so good. I think it's worth the sacrifice. So
damn, it's a hard decision.
It is. It's a tough decision. It's funny though. I might just do it
on Twitter. You can always put it on Twitter.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? We're joined by I don't even know who this is.
Beardless.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah, and now you all understand why I have a beard.
Look like a mole rat. We're joined by other Jared. We're also joined by TheAngryMexa, whose channel just passed 500 subs. Oops, yes. I clicked out of the thing. There we go.
Thanks. It's been a long month of hard work.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Congratulations, though.
And this channel is almost to 2K subscribers, so that's fun. We've got a lot to celebrate.
Great. Yeah.
I want to shout out some of our viewers. We've got our OG Jacob Ironside, our first viewer in the chat, and our first inaugural member of the channel, Mark Clark. There is a link in the description if you want to sign up for a membership. I made it as cheap as possible. It's just $1, and what you get for that is street cred. That's it. No, you get emojis, and you also get a permanent discount code. All my merch. It's got merch. This is usually the point of the show where I say we got a lot to talk about this week, but we don't. We've got Andor episode 7. Episode 7. We got the penultimate episode of House of the Dragon, and that's it.
Yep.
We do have some more guests coming, but they're all running late. David's apparently
slackers
in the middle of a board game that he doesn't want to just stop.
That's usually what you can do with board games. That's one of the appeals.
Shows where his priorities are.
He would be caught up in a board game. I mean, it's not like he has his own YouTube. I mean, wait, sorry, are we not plugging him?
Well, if he's not here, I'm not gonna plug crap.
Right.
I'm definitely not gonna plug his YouTube channel. So, Other Jared's also driving back from Las Vegas, but he said he should be able to join. So, I think
once again showing that I am the best Jaredation.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe grow that beard back, and then we'll have a chat.
Yeah, it should be pretty solid by next week, I think, but we'll have to see.
What do you guys want to talk about first? Andor or Hot D? There's a lot to get. I feel like
which was the worst in your opinion?
Which one was the worst?
Uh-huh.
It's definitely like the weakest episode of Andor. Well, no, episode 2 was the worst.
But this is along those same veins. It's a lot of setup, but you're getting some cool backstory and like kind of under,
Yeah, but in comparison to is it the worst of House of the Dragon?
Mm-hmm.
No? Yes.
So the other thing that I'll actually argue, let's actually do Hot D first.
That's more impactful in my opinion, right? Because House of the Dragon is such a good show. Maybe the worst.
Is
it really the worst?
House of the Dragon? I don't know.
I would say this episode is the worst episode of House of the Dragon, but that's a high bar now.
Yeah.
I really liked this episode. I was digging it almost the whole time until just the last scene, which is so astronomically stupid.
The dragon breakout?
It almost like sours the whole show for me. But if they pull it off tonight, like I'm willing to forgive it. Like there are a couple things they could do to rectify the situation, but yeah.
And I would say let's talk about House of the Dragon, because I think a lot of the people that aren't here, the people that aren't watching it or haven't been as on top of it.
Yeah. I thought I was taking your cue. I thought we were already talking about.
Sorry, no, I started to say it and I was like, wait.
There's a lot to like about this episode. Some people were complaining that it was slow, and I loved the pacing. Yeah. I thought it was great how slow it was. It started off with just this eerie, like, okay, it's time to murder everybody, guys. Yeah. And but no one wanted to do it. And so they're all just like tiptoeing around the fact that we're going to have to murder everybody, guys.
And the thing that I think is the best is it's continuing to show, like, there's a lot of me that's wanted to be on Allison's side for
I've been on Allison's side this whole time, and now I'm like,
but then seeing the way she handled this makes me not as eager to be against her. Like she's actually trying to handle this well. She's trying to be like Viserys. She's trying to handle it well,
which is a change.
Because it's all a misunderstanding, is it?
Yeah, and I don't mind it. I haven't read the books, but I know a lot about them.
It works. It makes sense. It fits their character, and it means that
they are slowing her
madness.
Progress into everyone in the show is bad. Okay, they all end up doing really, really bad stuff.
Yeah,
and with Alicent, they are they're trying to make that journey. I like what they're doing with Alicent, because you can tell she's going to get dark in the future. But you can see her hesitancy because especially coming off that last episode, I'd be hesitant too. Like,
right, they just like mended fences and everything, and she has from the beginning tried to be like, look, I get it, your dad married me, but like that doesn't mean that I'm your enemy. You don't have to make me your enemy. But Rhaenyra was, and here you see her continuing to try to do that, and it's all based so much on that misunderstanding. That's what I love is when a show can do something like this where there's so much of it that's built on like misunderstanding, but not the misunderstanding that's like,
it's not cheap. No.
Oh my gosh, that's so dumb. I can't believe you guys misunderstood that. Or
like, just talk. Come on,
talk for a second. This is all a lot of like really understandable misunderstandings and like just slightly different perspectives on things, and it's really, really well done. So I love that.
But I think at this point it has passed the point of just talking will resolve the
exactly
issue. Because maybe the past 2 episodes it was still at that level of okay, we can just talk it out. You can marry my son or whatever, something like that,
we're past the point of no return, and that's a good thing.
Well, one thing that I didn't really pick up on until I was hearing other people talking about it, and I do remember the line, but it didn't like really process for me. But Aegon is married to his own sister. Like, it's weird enough that like they did the whole betrothing Rhaenyra's kids to the other girls or whatever, Daemon's kids or whatever.
Cousins, yeah.
That's weird enough.
Well,
The
she's married
cousins,
to her uncle.
they're
so-
Targaryens. It happens. She's married to her uncle.
That's also
But straight up your
a
older
historical
sister,
thing.
like-
They would often,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
preserve-
Oh, absolutely.
But I was wondering
But it's
which is
oh wow,
weirder.
that's weirder than I thought.
Which is weirder, the uncle or the brother?
I think the brother, but boy,
Yeah,
that's
brother's weird. The brother's the weirdest one, and
Brother,
that's
sister, I think, is
which
the
is
weirdest.
funny because
Yeah.
that's the relationship that like the show like completely glosses over. Everyone's all the other ones are like, oh man, you can't marry your uncle, and meanwhile like
can't marry
your,
this
your
12-year-old
daughter is
girl.
married to your brother.
Yeah.
Or
They're
your-
like,
your
no, that's
daughter's brother married to
Targaryen.
your
That's
son.
Targaryen.
Yeah, that's Targaryen way though. Goodness. But yeah, that was just an interesting one that I was like processing, and I've been hearing more and more that we should that she's always saying things that are a little bit of a prediction. She has
like a foresight gift.
Yeah,
and I think. So the thing that she's been saying, she said a couple throwaway lines, but she's repeated one line, which is like "There's a beast under the floorboards" or something like that, which is supposed to be alluding to something else that happens in the books, which might not happen anymore because of the ending of this episode. Which I think they might be trying to say that's what she was talking about, which is it's so dumb.
But
what's your big issue with it? Because I thought it was impactful at least. I don't know.
Maybe it can happen second season, third season.
My big issue. Okay, so let's just skip straight to the finale. My big issue is it completely destroys Rhaenys.
Yeah,
Rhaenys's character.
So many of the names are so similar.
It completely destroys her character the entire time. Like, I mean, if you listen to the speech that she gives to Alicent, the whole thing is like, hey, we can do better than these men. These men don't even care about their people, and we're just subject to misogyny and blah blah blah. Like,
right.
That speech kind of took me out of it a little bit. But I was like, it's okay because it's the characters that are saying this, not the show, right? Oh, you're still just serving men, and all these people have caused a whole bunch of war and bloodshed, and then she murders 1,000 people at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
and then doesn't murder the people that need to be murdered.
Yeah,
like I get it. Like the show that they were saying, like, oh, what they were trying to do is that she sees Alicent protecting her son and decides she can't commit to it. But she's just murdered 1,000 people, like a quarter of King's Landing. It wasn't just 1,000; it was 1,000. You saw how big that room was.
Yeah,
like that amount of death would immediately trigger like a depression,
dude. And
that you cannot, you can recover from that, but you can't just gloss over the fact that would completely shock the economy, the ecosystem, everything. And
come on, man,
they are.
Yeah, that's
disposable peasants. It looks like they're kind of trying to just gloss over it because they wanted to have a big Game of Thrones moment. And that's what I was liking so much about this show, is that it didn't need big Game of Thrones moments, and it was really good. But like, I think they jumped the shark on this.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely was. As soon as that happened, I'm just like, oh, those people are so dead. Oh gosh, that is.
I mean, I was laughing. It was funny. It was funny.
Yeah, it's also kind of like how did it just like smashed through the floor? Like the rocks would have fallen down and probably killed Rhaenys. Like it was just dumb.
Yeah. Well, she came up.
It would have been so much better.
I think,
and I was loving it. I was loving the tension. How she was just getting pulled through the city. It should have had her fly her dragon out the side, land at the doors of the it's not the sept, that doesn't exist. It's the dragon pit. Land at the doors and think about blasting them and then fly off. Like, it could have been an epic moment too, but they just turned her they literally did a genocide. And I mean,
yeah, I still think that there's way more of that population in King's Landing than the quarter of the people that were there that were killed, or like the half of the people that were there that were killed.
Oh yeah, there's more. There's more people, but that's still
a
huge shock.
Yeah,
and it qualifies as a genocide.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. But I don't know. I also really thought it was interesting. We got a little bit more motivation behind Aegon, because Aegon's just been a little piece
No, the rest of the episode I loved.
Yeah.
The speech was a little bit too much between Alicent and Rhaenys. It was a little bit heavy-handed, but it didn't pull me out. There was one moment in the Green Council where that was stupid, but the rest of the episode I was digging. I was like my heart was pumping. I was like, yeah, like something's gonna happen, and then it did, and I was like, that's not
what I thought was.
Yeah,
that was a dumb thing.
What do you mean about the Green Castle? The thing about Kristen
Green
Cole.
I didn't mind. I didn't mind Sir Cole. It was an accident,
way that
right?
happened.
It was played off as an accident.
I don't know.
I think it was an accident. It's just kind of weird because it didn't seem like that should have.
He obviously wasn't trying to be careful, but I definitely don't think he was trying to kill the guy. He is getting away with a lot and like never having to explain himself.
Yeah, maybe that's the reason they made it an accident.
I think they could have done it a little bit better and just stressed, no one is allowed to leave this room, and said it a couple more times, and then he grabs him and tries to put him back down. And it looked like an accident to me. He's still like getting away with a lot, and he gets promoted at the end of this episode, right?
Well, because he's been loyal to Alicent. That's the key for like why even though he's been getting away with a lot, he's been getting away. But
she didn't want that to happen. Like she was the one saying, no, we don't kill people, and he kills people, and then she rewards him. It should have been a reward from her father.
Fair enough, but
that's what he wanted.
It really is the sort of thing where she knows that Cole is loyal to her.
Yeah.
Almost completely. Like the only thing that he wouldn't do
we
was
we saw with the foot guy, like she's using people.
That was interesting. that was like, are we seeing the
I'm
birth
just
of
really
Quentin
glad
Tarantino here or something?
I'm really glad it didn't show anything, but it was still like, oh.
No, they did kind of show something.
Oh,
there wasn't much, but
they show some movement there. They show some movement.
Oh yeah,
that was interesting. When she first took off her shoes, I'm like, this is kind of an odd. Like, what's she? And then she took off the stockings. I'm like,
okay, that's a side point. We can talk about that later. But what was the point? She's definitely she's manipulating him, and she's manipulating Cole, and she sees them as pawns, right? And so and so that's hinting, her character is going to do some dark things in the future, right?
This is the one that I don't know how well he's going to behave as a pawn is the problem, but
the Cole
or the
foot guy. Oh no, he's a simp. He's a simp. You even saw it. Like he was talking to her dad. And he's like, "Hey, there's no reason I can't serve you." And then he immediately goes behind his back. No, I'm going to tell you everything.
True, but he also is the one who like he also is the one who also had the initiative to be like, "Oh, I'm going to kill these people and say, oh, that's what you wanted, and I did it for you." And force himself into that.
He genuinely believes that, though.
Yeah, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
That could be. I read it as a lot more manipulative on his part, but
no, this guy's willing to do anything for Alice.
Fair enough.
And so is Cole.
Yeah.
Yo,
just about. Although he would not take the kid's eye. So,
but I was wondering if he was banging the queen. He's not, right?
No.
I don't think so.
But he's in love with her in some way.
They might in the future, but they're not. She's stringing him along.
Yeah, that was one of those ones. Part of the reason why, like, I kind of want to be on her side more is because she has, for the most part, a more arguably moral high ground there, at least from my perspective. And so it's like, I kind of want to side with you, but anyway.
So the point I was complaining about though was like they make a big stink about how no one can leave and someone gets murdered because of it, and then they let the guy leave. The captain of the Kingsguard.
Oh, I suppose that's a good point.
Like he's like they literally kill a guy because no one can leave the room. And then he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go." And then
maybe
he could have had a cool sword fight between Cole and his character.
Yeah, I was gonna say he is the only one that I don't think anyone except for maybe Cole would want to be like, no, you can't leave.
I'm glad his character's still alive because the actor is fantastic, and it would be fun to see him in the future. His character is supposed to be dead.
Oh, is it
in the books? Yeah, in that scene, I think.
In that scene,
I can't remember specifically, but.
Yeah,
they just let him go. They made a big scene out of it. And
that was kind of funny.
The other moment too is when Rhaenys escapes. The brother, the one of the twins,
Eric, I think, is the one that's helping
like
her.
She would have been. she would have been under better guard. Like, and you hear him in the hallway,
fighting in the hallway.
He's in the room, and he says, "Get out of my way!" And then he just opens up the door, and you're like, "But what happened to the guy you were saying to get out of your way?" Like, no one like said anything. So there were a couple
minor gripes, but
missteps. But
Mm-hmm.
I was willing to overlook them all because what they were trying to do, and I loved the isolation. It was executed really well, and most of the episode is from Rainey's perspective, and you don't even see the blacks.
Doing their stuff at all. Yeah, nothing with them.
Because that was the point of the episode. They're like, we don't know what they're doing, so we got to act first. And it was good. It was really good. And then the ending is just dumb.
Yeah.
I still had fun with it, but I do see your complaint. Yeah.
I mean, when I saw it for the first time, I was like, no way. I was like, no way. She killed a bunch of random, innocent, peasants. For her, it was just peasants.
And then doesn't finish the job.
And she doesn't kill the people that you said.
And in doing so, completely destroys Rhaenyra's chance at being queen. There's no way the people would side with Rhaenyra after that.
It's a good point, actually.
It's completely out of character. It's completely unnecessary, and it completely destroys her entire cause.
I think what it really does.
They did it because they wanted to have a big moment, and they got their big moment. But it just doesn't connect with the rest of the series. That being said, if they land it tonight, I'm going to forgive everything. Okay.
the feeling I got though is that at least the way that they generally portray the populace is that the populace is they're gonna go with it one way or the other, kind of.
That's the thing.
Whether or not they're happy about it, and depends on how much if they get somebody to organize them, they might revolt. But like, they know that they're just there to be
that was my big takeaway from this episode, is that the people don't care. They should care now. But up until this point, like, it's ironic because not Alicent, but the Daddy Hightower, his entire justification was there's no way that people will accept Rhaenyra as queen, and it will lead the kingdom into absolute chaos and destruction, which is why we have to act. Well, that's what he's been saying the whole series, right?
Yeah.
The people wouldn't have given a hoot, like it's complete. Like, this episode is completely like Otto's fault that there's going to be a civil war, because like they kind of did make amends in the last episode. And you can see the people of King's Landing, they don't even know who's going to be.
They barely care. Yeah.
Like, they're just herded like sheep into this room. They don't even know who it's going to be, and they don't care who it's going to be. And so it proves Otto's point wrong that, if it was Rhaenyra, no one would have complained. And all of this was unnecessary. Which is why it's so good, because it's the cruel irony. It's poetic that all of this. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, essentially. Like, all of this stuff that they're saying is going to happen is only happening because they believe it's going to happen. And they really could have just made up and been friends.
It's interesting because it's like, this is kind of all Otto's fault, but at the same time, he is one of the ones that, even though he's the one playing the game hardest, arguably, he's also the one who I think is doing it out of the most
selflessness,
largely genuine selflessness. He does think it's what's best for the realm. He does think that it's going to be, and he genuinely thinks that.
I don't know.
And he's like, hey, it's also cool that I can get my kids on there. But really, he's like, I think that it's really important that we get a King Aegon.
Yeah, no,
I think he's doing it for his family, right? I mean, for the sake of his family, her daughter's son, and kids.
I feel like now that they're there, that adds to his like motivation for it. But it really
shifted for sure. Like,
but even then, it still is, I think, founded in the idea of like, this is what's going to be best for the realm.
Is what's best for the kingdom.
He's not like Corlys, who's like, it's all about the name, it's all about the recognition. I need to get my family. He's not like Corlys.
Yeah.
But now that it's there, he's not upset about the fact
he's going to get greedy. He's going to get power hungry, and it's going to become selfish. But for the most part, it's been like, this is what I think needs to happen for the good of the realm. And it was pushed even to the more extreme which is his fault that he got his
because it was
daughter
his daughter.
involved,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Right. But once he made that step, there's no going back, because in his mind
Mhm.
he sees if Rhaenyra is queen, you and your offspring will always be
Will
a threat
die.
to their
Mhm.
claim, and they will murder you. And so we just got to go,
We just
full
gotta
steam
go take
ahead.
it. Yep.
So yeah, I think you're both right. I think it started off as this is what's best for the realm, but now it's completely turned into this is what I have to do to protect my
Yeah,
family.
but
It just also happens to be what I think is best for the realm, even though he's totally
Mhm.
wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
but didn't Damon accused Otto to kill
Mhm.
his father to become the hand because his father was the hand?
No,
It was Laris's father that was the hand before, right?
Yeah.
Or
No. I
no,
mean,
that's right. It was
no, way before, way
way
before,
before.
before.
I don't remember that scene. Maybe.
Yeah, the way that Viserys becomes king is because Jaehaerys has two sons. They both die, and the last
Mhm.
one that dies is the father of Viserys and Daemon. That guy was the hand. Became the hand because he went and destroyed a lot of
Mhm.
went and take revenge for the killing of his brother, and he
Mm.
came back as the hand and as a heroic figure. That's in the books.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And yeah, and then Otto supposedly killed or made a scheme to kill uh Viserys' father to become
Mhm.
the hand, and then that's the way Viserys came to be king, because right,
Okay.
it was a
Yeah,
woman.
they
Women.
played they played a little bit like they mentioned that a little bit when Viserys fires Otto as hand way
Yes.
back 15 years
And
before
Daemon
or
is,
whatever like
well,
that.
when I think Daemon said it, weren't you so eager to become hand after my father died, something like that, in episode
Yeah, it was like 3 or
in
something like that.
episode 7, I believe, in the episode before
Oh,
this,
maybe it was, yeah, a couple episodes
or
ago.
one before. Yeah, when Daemon and Rhaenyra already are,
All right, when they're already married and all that.
banging.
Yeah, banging. Yep. It was really good though. I really enjoyed it. Again, the motivations and again, because like I kind of want like Aemon is the one that like looks the coolest, the kid with the eye patch, and it's like yeah,
Yes.
he's right. He's like I should be king, not Aegon. Hopefully
Yeah,
Aegon
he
takes
wants it.
power and then is like, here, Aemon, you basically just rule for me because I'll just be the figurehead king. But the way that he's seems to be taking it during the coronation and everything was like, this is awesome. I got the dagger and everything. Like
Yes.
maybe dad did love me kind of thing. Like it was just so much better that you could see that a big part of the motivation behind why this kid was such a just piece of garbage was he was like, dad didn't even love me enough to decide to name me his firstborn son, his heir. He's sticking with Rhaenyra and he it was
Not
just so
enough
much
to make me
so beautiful.
sympathetic of him though, because he's a horrible
Yeah.
person.
Oh no, he's still
Yeah.
and I never watched the original, but like
He
the little
pays
bit that
for
I've seen, I'm like, this seems like a very Joffrey type character. I want to, yeah.
I wouldn't say he's as bad as Joffrey, but this dude pays for kids to fight each other to the death and file their teeth down, and one of them is his own bastard son. So
Probably not the only one, because they said one of many, likely.
Yeah, no, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
One of his own, one of several of his
Yeah.
own illegitimate children that he
I just hope that
snuck off and didn't
after
have with his sister. Like, come on.
I just hope that after this episode, Aegon becomes at least, he's not good and he's not gonna become good, but at least he
Grow up
becomes
a
more
little.
responsible for the realm or something like that, more obsessed, more like going towards a Joffrey kind of character.
I want to see him.
I'm guessing he's going more that way.
Really good death.
Greedy
for
and
him,
more obsessed with power.
No.
I want to see a really gnarly death for his character. Because he's the worst. You were saying Aemon might make a good king, but I think he wants it too much to be a good king.
That's totally fair. But he's just cool looking. He's cool looking, and he does have the he studies the philosophy and the histories, and he fights, and like he's like Daemon in that way, where like Daemon.
Ironically, I think Daemon would make the best king.
Yeah, Daemon wouldn't have made the kinds of mistakes that Viserys made. Viserys was like a good, kind, peaceful man, just not a great king. And Aemon would be kind of
looks
like
over
that.
too many things.
Yeah, he is still a little piece of turd, but more a more intelligent, like actually has his crap together, kid.
But you
so.
see Damon like the whole time, he has ambition at the start, and then that's like beaten out of him, and then he just spends his time like wanting peace and reading history books, like those are the things that make good kings.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this how it goes tonight.
Yeah,
yep.
He matured.
I'm sure he's going to do some horrible stuff in the future too. So,
quite likely. I mean, this is Game of Thrones. This is the Game of Thrones world. So,
but he's still Baby Damon. He's still a good, a great character.
So even and that's what's so different between this show and freaking Rings of Hooper, because even though I absolutely hated the ending of this episode, like it's still so incredibly complex that like the show is still good. It's not a deal breaker for the show. If they keep doing stuff like this, it will become a deal breaker. But like I'm willing to overlook a couple missteps because the rest of the quality is there.
And a big part of it too is like even with this as a misstep, it still leaves us with a lot of interesting things to do. It wasn't like it was a lot for the like shock and awe or whatever.
Yeah,
the Game
of
Thrones
that's exactly.
Moment,
they just wanted a big moment. They didn't think about the consequences at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But you also still got it wasn't only that, because you also got the moment where she realizes and decides not to burn them and the consequences that's going to have, and you can see the character. It was a bad decision because she could have ended the conflict right there.
Ended the show. The show would be over.
Entire thing.
But Targaryens don't burn.
Yeah, but it makes it interesting, So
and it totally would have made sense if she hadn't just murdered thousands of people.
Well, yeah.
Like she should have went on the side. Landed at the front doors, and then Otto could have been shouting, "Close the doors! Close the doors!" And she's about to do it, and she sees the mother moment or something else, and she's like, "Ah, I can't
confused
bring
as to
myself
why
to murder." And then,
like I said, I don't think it was gonna work. I don't think it was gonna work because dragon riders are impervious to fire. Probably you were going to kill Alicent, and
that's
not Aegon, not Aemon. Helena has Dreamfire, I think. She has a dragon.
So the immunity to fire was something that the show Game of Thrones added.
Oh,
okay.
That wasn't technically the case in the books.
For real?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, we see what happens with Damon's ex-wife. She burns herself.
She burned,
but she's not Targaryen. She's Targaryen. But yeah, the whole.
But in some scenes of episode 1 and 2, we see both Viserys and Rhaenyra putting their hand on their fire. So maybe they are not impervious, but they're
probably
resistant.
adding it to this show too. But
they are resistant,
Yeah.
Maybe they are not gonna burn as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Alicent and Otto and Kristen, they were gone.
Yeah, they would have been gone.
People were gone.
The good news is though,
not that bad.
The good news is though, the guy that was responsible for that horrible choice at the end of the season is out.
So was it whose decision was that though? Like,
no, the showrunner.
Yeah, well, he's been out. Gone. Yeah, he's gone, but
he's gone with the rest of Warner Brothers, who did horrible things, and now they've got their comeuppance.
Yeah, no,
and the other showrunner who's left is the good one, and they're bringing in a second showrunner who directed like a bunch of the really good episodes from the first seasons of Game of Thrones, and season 2, I got a feeling it's going to be even better.
But they say the real issue with this episode was actually the writer.
David's kids are being loud, so he's muted.
Yeah, was actually the writer. She's called Samantha Hess, something like that. Her last name is Hess. She's a writer, and she wrote the episode where actually the one you mentioned where Laena dies to Vhagar, and she also wrote this episode. And
that one had another little misstep.
Yeah, you can see because she was the one with that took the decision of not putting the scene where Daemon hugs his children when her mother dies. and that was such a cool moment of a good dad from Damon. But they were like, nah, Damon is not. He's. I think
They may
has
not have
something to
wanted
do
to
with
frame him too good. I don't know.
exactly. They don't want to put him as so good as a person, and they put him like uh, a cold guy. But yeah, she's still going to write for the second season.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
think she's going to write way less.
yeah. But
That's for sure.
the big bad is gone. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they can keep her under control. But yeah, he was the one that was. And if you watched the behind the scenes explanation after the episode, you can tell it was him that was pushing for this big moment, and he's the one that's saying, "You may not like the choice that she decided not to kill all of the people at the end, but that's the choice that she made, and that's what we're going to go with." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, this is the guy that thought of this idea, and he's a moron."
It was really weird. The whole scene was really weird. Like there was no dialogue, so there was just looks. I was watching trying to edit a scene, making a Mexican dub of that scene, and they were just looking at each other. So I'm like, oh my god, what do I put here? Like they're just looking at each other. The only one that talks is the dragon, and he's just like, oh.
I'm angry. Noises.
So yes, Mark, I was muted because my kids are being a little bit loud in the background. My aunt, my sister is over here, so they're playing with my aunt and nephew. But if you want my opinions, episode 3 is really good. I'm behind.
So you've been catching up, huh?
Yeah.
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah. I recently regained access to HBO Max from some anonymous donor.
I gave you the I gave you the password months ago.
No, you didn't.
May have just been signed into at some point while somebody else was over at his house instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember if it's 4 or 5 that's got some inappropriate stuff you might want to skip over, David.
I think it's 4. I want to say it's 4.
Yeah. 4. There's a brothel scene.
I remember. Yeah. I mean, you got a little
weird.
Little bit of background stuff in the first episode as well.
That's what's great. Like I've been watching the show like edited, and it was really only that one episode that needed to trim stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
So I can actually like review the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if they were going to go there this episode, since when they were going looking for Aegon, but since that's where they went, but didn't end up being the case.
Well, I'm excited to watch the finale tonight. And the stuff that the changes in Warner Brothers are hinting to an even better season 2, and possibly good DC stuff in the future. I don't know. Has anyone watched Black Adam? I have not seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go tomorrow or the next day.
I was thinking about it. I don't even have, I don't even want to go. I'm like feeling just like it's a chore because I want to,
It looks fine.
It looks, but
that being said, though, like fine is probably going to be better than the average MCU movie right now. So I kind of feel like I should go see it.
Exactly. That's the only reason I want to go, because I want to support the thing that's doing at least trying to do something decent.
That's how I feel too. It's like I'm fine maybe just waiting till it comes to streaming, not seeing it in the theater. But I'm like, then again, I should probably go out and support DC right now because I think I like what they have.
But then I think of the Flash.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't want to give money to Ezra Miller.
Well, you're giving your money to a lot of other people besides Ezra Miller for that. Hopefully,
he pleaded not guilty, guys. He's not guilty of breaking and entering and.
No, I just dislike
him. That other stuff.
I don't care. I just dislike him.
No, he's not a great guy.
Yeah,
he's that Ezra is not. I'm excited for them to move past Ezra.
That's. Yeah.
Mark's sister saw the movie yesterday, but she likes Fast and Furious movies, so you don't trust her opinion. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Fast and the Furious. They are not good movies, but you can have a really good time watching them.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid, but it's got some fun action, and if you turn your brain off, big muscle guys punching things. You know?
Yeah, that's
cars.
How I
and,
feel
cars
about
in
a lot of
space.
superhero movies too.
I haven't seen like the two newest ones, but I've had fun watching Fast and Furious, and I fully accept that they are horrible movies. But that doesn't mean you can't have fun.
I haven't seen any of them. Never had enough interest to really go for it.
At least they know what they're trying to do. Like
that's the
Tokyo
key.
one
Like
is good.
as long as you know what you're doing. Yeah, for sure.
The one in
I can
Tokyo
accept
was
that.
decent.
Tokyo
It's
Drift,
kind of like
3.
Yeah. It's kind of like watching like Pacific Rim. It's a stupid movie, but it's fun. It's fun. It's big things punching each other. There's some entertainment in there.
Pacific Rim had better concept.
Yeah.
But
I didn't
I
watch the
agree.
second one. But...
no, the second one is
Didn't
not,
run the second one either.
not good at all. It's such a downgrade in every way. The CGI is but whatever.
We were talking about Hot D or something. Like,
Yeah, we are talking about big machines go punching each other.
Big machines go punch.
Yeah, but what's
in
left to
contrast,
say about House?
in order to enjoy Rings of Power, you have to turn your brain off and close your eyes. So,
yeah,
yes, and sometimes your ears because the music becomes a little bit repetitive.
Yeah. I'd rather turn my ears off before turning my eyes off for that one because it doesn't look that bad, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, if you watch it on mute, it might be pretty good.
It might be enjoyable, yeah.
I don't know. It's really long.
Yeah, the only way to enjoy the Rings of Power is to fast forward all the hardwood scenes and all the Numenorian, with the sister and all. Oh my God, those scenes.
And everything with Galadriel. So you
and everything with Galadriel
with the dwarves.
Exactly, you left with the dwarves.
And that's even so.
Yeah, and even
you forgot Arondir, and you had to all the Southlands. You had to
skip a couple of the scenes with the dwarves too. There's some bad stuff there.
Yeah. The one some. Oh my God, some with the.
But
kids
again, in contrast, Andor is still pretty solid.
Yeah,
Andor is really good.
Yeah,
and this one was a slower episode, but it was still solid. So
I don't think it was the worst.
Let's talk about Andor, but let's segue with some bad takes.
Yes,
okay,
nice.
So where to go? Here's
like
the
that,
stinger.
yeah.
And here,
Screen Rants. Bad takes.
Screen Rant says everything we lost with the Batgirl cancellation. Nothing of value.
Just Michael Keaton.
Maybe a few memes.
Yeah, probably a solid chunk of memes, and we're still getting Michael Keaton in the Flash movie as Batman.
Yeah.
Although it sounds like more than likely that caused them to not have it be Michael Keaton in Aquaman 2, but now they've got Ben Affleck back to it. But
that was okay.
It sounded kind of, honestly, I love Michael Keaton as Batman, but it sounded like kind of a gimmick.
Yes.
Yeah.
They saw Spider-Man and they thought, we could do one of those, but it wasn't thought out at all. But now the entire regime has changed. And
actually, I wonder if there's also a little bit of, man, with everything that's going on, we kind of need to like reboot and get different people in here. And Ben Affleck says he's out anyway. The Flash is being Ezra, and that's awful. And so we're going to use the Flash to just clean slate.
Where do they go? Where do they go? Right? Like
they really have to like do. They have to do Flash, and that's what everybody thinks it is. Is they're going to Flashpoint it, and we're gonna lose Ezra. We're going to lose at least.
They're doing reshoots. They're doing reshoots right now. So
desperately,
I think they've wrapped those up recently. But they're definitely doing some reshoots.
But they know if that movie flops, it's over for the DCU.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's enough there that's at least worth trying to keep. Gal Gadot in the first one was pretty good, and the first Wonder Woman was solid. The second one was not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh! That was
and Shazam is great. I really like Shazam.
Shazam is fantastic. I love Shazam.
Why aren't they putting
the Man
Black
of
Adam
Steel
in
was good
Shazam?
too.
Exactly. Why?
We'll see. Yep. We'll have to see. I
They
think
would
they're
have
taking
made
their time
more
on that.
money.
And it's like, I can respect taking your time to do something right, except that that's the only thing that you're taking your time on. So the fact that you're not taking your time on anything else, I don't know if that's the reason you're not doing it. So
Shazam 2 was supposed to come out before Black Adam.
yeah, there's been so many messed up things
But
with their schedule.
like I get it. Like they
Everybody's
gotta
schedule is messed up, but
they gotta figure out what they're doing. But I think they are, which like they're taking a step back, they're reorganizing, and they're trying to figure out where they're going to go next. And I'm curious to see where that is with Star Wars and the MCU. They're just floundering and they don't care.
Yeah, but with the majority of things coming out, they don't care. But there is still hope. Andor is good. There's still hope for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
I agree with Jacob.
I don't know about the MCU. I don't think there's much in the MCU that I personally look forward to anymore. But there may be still a few gems coming up.
I'm looking forward to some things. But I'm excited for Black Panther. That'll be good.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could be excited for Black Panther with that. There's no lead. There's no lead.
I still think they'll do all right with it.
It's
definitely
going to be interesting to see what they do with it. But
I never liked that girl. I never liked her.
Oh, she
was so annoying.
No.
She was like a Karen.
But on top of all that, they're shoehorning in Ironheart.
Yes.
We'll see what happens with that.
It's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a flaming mess.
Although it feels like it does sort of make sense that she might come from there. She might come from Wakanda. She's connected to Shuri. She could be a friend of Shuri. Like that makes sense as to where you would find somebody who would be anywhere close to being able to run another iron suit.
It's silly,
but it looks so bad. Even like the suit looks like Mega Man, but red Mega Man. Like
much like Fredo to Mike. The MCU is dead to me.
To me, yeah, that's what he said. I'm surprised those rocks didn't come out with just the beard. Like that's where I was
those rocks in the chat.
I know, right? Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen you beardless. You've always
probably
had
been about
some
6
sort of
years
facial hair.
since I've had it, so it's been without it.
To be honest, I was like, "Who is this guy?"
Who the heck is that?
They just spoke, and I was,
it's that guy.
Yeah,
it was partially for the Halloween costume, and also because my chin felt like it needed to breathe a little bit, but I'll give it a
you
it
can
today.
Always find or Santa Claus beer, for the holiday.
Yeah. So, yep. It'll probably be back in at least pretty full by next week, but we'll see.
Okay, we got more bad takes. One Obi-Wan Kenobi detail subtly teased Princess Leia's Jedi future.
I don't think subtle is the right word there.
What Jedi future?
That she trained with her brother Luke.
Eventually trains with
Force
Luke.
sensitive.
They also
the Disney movies
Jedi with Force sensitive constantly.
The Disney movies made sure that there was no Jedi future for Leia, unlike the books.
Yeah, they conflate Jedi with Force user constantly.
Yeah. They match those things so badly that the Jedi scenes from Leia is so bad. They were so dumb. The whole scene where she pulls herself from space into the
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah.
And if only they'd had the guts to let her die right there, then when Carrie Fisher actually did die, like they wouldn't have had to find some way to try to figure out how to cover for the fact that she was not there for the last one, which was really sad, but it's like
the movie was so dumb,
much like they're conflating Jedi with Force user, I like to conflate Screen Rant with morons.
But see, except you would be correct in your
except I'd be correct, right?
What?
Oh no! What?
Let me read it. Okay. Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker theory. The old woman at the end is Luke's wife.
Also funny that they put wife in quotes.
Why is wife in quotes?
Oh my goodness.
Because he was just banging her, you know?
Wow.
My God.
Does it just basically come down to the fact that she's around the Skywalker farm and
Exactly. Yes. I mean, that's the only thing they could go off of, right?
that, and he had a wife in the books, so
In the
maybe he
in
would
the
have a
extended-
wife.
Yeah.
She also looks like twice as old as him.
Yeah, I was like, he has a thing for older women.
Legitimately, the thing that I most thought of was the old woman from the prequels. That's like, "Storm's coming, Annie." You know, like that's who it made me think of, and I'm like, there's no way it's her because that's like 60 years ago, and she was already freaking old at that point. But
Yeah.
eh,
It's just trying to justify a stupid scene
just
from the
another
sequels.
article. Yeah.
It was a mysterious woman at the end of Rise of Skywalker prompted a theory that she was Luke's secret wife. Does the idea hold up? No.
No, there's nothing to it. Unless there's something in some books that I haven't read yet, but like
Cammy Marstep.
I think they're supposed to be the friends from some of the deleted scenes.
Which why would we care about?
Hope.
It's so stupid.
So not only they're theorizing that this is his wife, but that it's not Mara Jade, it's someone else that we see randomly in the original trilogy.
Disney's
or in Book of Boba Fett.
Disney's too stupid to do a story about Mara Jade, and they already ruined their chance to do it.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Gosh, that would have been so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt though. Like by the time they had their hands on it, Mark Hamill is already kind of too old to do a good Mara Jade story.
But you could still set up the idea that he and actually allow that to have been a part of the history.
Yeah.
And then you can do it with either recast or as they've been doing with the deepfakes or whatever, or even just in comics and books. But
it would have been so cool.
Yeah.
There's so much good extended Star Wars universe stuff.
But I believe they already screwed it up. You know, I don't think they are coming back from what they have shown us, and especially the Rise and the Last Jedi. Oh my God!
Well, they someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone, they just declared Star Wars like a dead brand based on Andor viewership. There's a problem. We're liking Andor, but no one's watching it because you've pissed away your core audience.
Yeah.
And it is the kind of thing that isn't as attractive to a casual viewer either. Like it's a story that a casual viewer could enjoy it and actually have fun with it, but because it's not one of the big flashy Jedi or cute Baby Yoda thing, you're not recruiting the casual viewers in to watch it to then realize how good a story
and the only people who would enjoy Andor are people like us who have been turned off from Star Wars.
Exactly.
The people that they have left are the ones who see shiny colors and clap. And this is a slow burn, methodical, almost what's the word I'm looking for? Like philosophical show.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's so frustrating.
That's not
just like you said. Just like you said, it's they've pissed off a lot of us fans that are really dedicated, that have been not happy with Book of Boba Fett and with what was the other Obi-Wan and all that, and then but it's not interesting enough to draw in new fans. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
just
so frustrating because there's a lot of people that could get into it because it's not just the big bang pow Star Wars stuff. There's a lot of people who'd love that. But.
I'm actually not familiar with Yuzan Vong, but I will look it up. It sounds interesting.
Yuzan Vong
there are a lot of Star Wars books. Okay.
Yeah. They were basically an alien race that were completely Force insensitive. And so they were completely immune to the Force's effects as well.
Oh, cool.
So that they went and took over the galaxy, and they were completely, immune
my
to the Jedi's.
I never read a lot of the EU stuff,
everything.
but and so I never read into it. But I'd heard a little bit about it. The I don't love the idea that they're so Force immune and so disconnected from it. So I don't know. I'm not sure whether I'd like it or not. Although one of the things that I think I'd heard with that is that it kind of actually paints Palpatine in a little bit more understandable light, because it gives him the motivation of the fact that he saw a big threat coming that eventually turned out to be the Yuzhan Vong, and part of him trying to build the empire was in order to prepare for taking on the Yuzhan Vong. And it makes you kind of like, oh, he actually had a bigger plan, and everyone else was just short-sighted, you know.
Hashtag Palpatine did nothing wrong.
Anyway,
yeah, I think I've mentioned before on the show that my my fan pitch for a Star Wars show would be something way super in the future, where the Force is distilled and everybody has a little teeny bit of the Force, and I think that would be a really cool setting to bring in the Yuzhan Vong. But right now, I have no faith in current Star Wars management to pull off a story like that. So,
bad news, guys. Bad news. She-Hulk season 2 gets disappointing update from Tatiana Maslany.
Bummer, man. I was so looking forward to that.
The update is there's no news yet, and I got news for you. There's not going to be.
Can I pop out of my screen here and slap Screen Rant right now?
You're not going to get the call. I'm sorry. Your show performed so horribly.
It was not well done. Yeah, even people who wanted to like it were just like, it's not funny. It's
and the people that did like it or are just Marvel stans or She-Hulk stans in this.
And I generally would put myself in a Marvel stan, box. I'd say like, hey, Marvel, I'm gonna go with it. That's why it was like episode 7 or whatever. I'm like, I actually kind of like this one because I'm a Marvel stan. I would totally go for it. But the rest of it was just so nonsensical.
Yeah, the 7 was the best, but the 8 was the worst, probably. And nobody liked it. Nobody, not even the like I said, the She-Hulk stans, not even them liked it. So
But it didn't stop Tatiana Maslany from texting Charlie Cox every day. So he will cast her in Daredevil Born Again because Charlie Cox would be the one in charge of that.
What annoying type of person. I will have blocked her. I never block people, but I will have blocked her.
I'm already not looking forward to Daredevil Born Again. If this happens, I won't watch it.
If She-Hulk is in Daredevil is going to lose a lot of viewers. A lot of viewers.
I will be one of them. I won't even cover it on the show. The She-Hulk director wanted to make a sex-positive show that kids could also watch.
Oh. I totally thought it was saying she wants to in the future, that's something that she's thinking that she wants.
No.
She thought that's what she was doing.
Her
with this one.
goal in making She-Hulk was to make a sex-positive show for kids.
Holy.
Yep. Pretty gross.
This article's title has been changed. This is the new title. The old one, which you can still see on Google, read, She-Hulk sex scenes don't disqualify it as a kid's show.
Yeah, they didn't really show.
It does in my book. It does in my book.
I think that the horrible storytelling is what disqualifies it from. Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I have D Plus is because it's for free for me, because I'm paying other subscription that gives me like Paramount and Disney Plus for free. So I'm like, okay, it's free, so I'm just gonna use it to review bad shows.
Nice.
Which they are a lot.
It was disgusting, is what
it was really weird. And she also used the word hard. It was the horniest show.
This is the horniest show. This is the horniest Marvel show we've ever made. Yeah.
Which is funny because not within the context of the show. The show wasn't funny, but that point is funny because she's constantly complaining about being objectified, and she does the most objectification, most talking about sex, and it's so short-sighted. Anyway, moving on.
Well, I'm glad it's never getting a season 2. So
I hope so.
But we've got a special appearance on Bad Takes from an old favorite, fan-sided. Will She-Hulk air a new bonus episode tonight on October 20th?
What?
No. But just bear with me. The previous episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law was unexpected. Instead of the giant CGI fight, the episode's conflict was solved with a fourth wall break and a conversation. This is something no one could have seen coming, and just wait, that's not. Where's the? Oh, okay. Unfortunately, She-Hulk Attorney at Law will not air a new episode tonight. Last week's shocking 9th episode was actually the season finale.
And this is news.
So it's unlikely.
Oh my god!
So it's unlikely
people
that
are
we'll
so
see another
excited.
episode of the show until we hear word on whether or not it will return for a second season.
Wow.
I think they are gonna
Apparently,
make a second season, to be honest. or a
fans of
short
the
season.
show didn't even realize that was the season finale because it was so garbage.
Maybe because this is the first one in a while that hasn't been just 8 episodes. Maybe they're like, oh, there was 9. Maybe there's more. Did they not know that there were 9?
You may not have realized it because it was garbage. But last week's episode was actually the finale.
That's pretty funny.
Oh.
Yeah, that you just tell me that they didn't even watch the episode, because in the same episode they're like, "Oh, is this the finale?" Like even
You're
Jen
right.
says it
They-
like 3 times.
They reference
like,
it in the episode too. Like, how
Yeah.
stupid can you get?
Yeah,
They go to when they break the fourth wall.
They reference
talk about it. They are like, "Oh, this is the worst finale ever."
And not
And
only
yes,
do they
it
reference
was.
it in the finale, they referenced it in the penultimate episode as well. At the end of that episode, they're like, well, that's the end. The finale's next week. Wait, why isn't this episode over? There's going to be a thing. There's going to be a stinger. Is there going to be a good stinger or a bad stinger?
Yeah. Now, going back to the format of the show and the fourth wall breaking, that's something that they could have done. Announced it only 9 episodes and then end it and like, wait, that's not a good episode. Tune in next week for the real finale, you know? And then
come
it
on
could have
back
been a
next week. I'll
surprise
make
thing.
something.
That
Yeah.
would be kind of cool.
Mhm.
And that would be awesome if the show were
Had actually
good.
been worth
Yeah.
anything.
You know, but
If
like,
you know,
what
that
was
would have
this
been a
about?
good.
So
That
no.
would have been something they could have done if the show was
Yeah.
good and people wanted a bonus episode.
Yeah.
But that would
I
have
honestly
been-
think
at
though
least
the
would be
reality is
interesting.
it's just because this site wanted another article. It's literally the same as the like, is the season 2 of this airing this month? No. Is it airing this month?
They've
No.
still been doing it for the Wheel of Time. I just
Are
don't
you
want, I don't want to cover it
serious?
anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, every month there's a new one. Is the Wheel
So
of Time airing?
I
this
doubt
month?
that anybody's actually been looking for or thinking there was an extra episode, even fans of the show.
They were doing it for other shows too, not just the Wheel of
Oh,
Time.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah. But
Yes,
it's okay because Yahoo is answering is asking the hard hitting questions.
And answering
Did
them
Bros deserve to flop? Decide for yourself by streaming it now. Or
Hey.
as a journalist, you could do your job and review it.
That's hilarious. Why aren't more people watching it? Maybe you should watch it and find out. No.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Like what
so
what
so
streaming
sad.
services even aired it?
I don't
Like,
know.
what
I'll bet
even
you it's
would
on
allow it?
Amazon for
Netflix
purchase.
or
I don't think
Paramount or
it's
something.
Amazon.
yeah, it's probably Paramount.
Paramount.
Oh, that sounds like a
But
Paramount.
what? This is like the worst article ever. Was Bros really that bad? Go and everybody go and watch it and find out for yourself.
See,
Probably
this journalist is doing their job because they're being paid to try to trick people to
Mm-hmm.
go and watch it.
It's funny, like they're answering their own question by not answering the question.
Yo, but did you
We're not
really?
going to tell you in the title because then you wouldn't watch it. It's pretty bad, guys. But
Yo, but
go
did you
watch
really
it.
watch it? Did
But
you
go-
really watch it?
It's pretty bad.
Did you really watch it?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, thank God, man! I was worried about your.
I was trying to track it down. Actually, it went out of theaters.
No,
way
I was
too quick 'cause it
assuming. I
flopped.
was assuming the
actually-
position. I was assuming the position of Tim Chan there. I was like, was the movie as bad as everyone's saying? I'm not going to tell you. You go watch it.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's not
Yeah.
the only flop out there, because people aren't seeing "Don't Worry, Darling," and so Olivia Wilde, to combat that and get people to see her movie, is telling people they're going to burn in hell for misogyny.
Okay.
Because that'll magically get people back on your side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and watched it. It was actually not a bad movie. It wasn't amazing, but it was a solid movie. I thought there was some good stuff there.
I was planning on watching it until she opened her mouth.
Yes. Yeah, the
trailer
funniest
looked
part is
fine.
I was watching the numbers in box office, and she did decent. I mean, she did better than the Woman King or Warrior King. What was the name of that movie?
Woman King.
She did way better than the Woman King, and apparently that's because of the foreign market, because nobody else outside the U.S. or English speaking language, the English speakers knew about the whole thing about the Jordan Peterson, the king of the incels, and that thing, which I mean, I only watched a certain part of the movie because for me it was a little bit boring and predictable. The whole twist was kind of weird too, but I stopped watching like by the end. But I didn't think that guy was like an insult first of all, and well, maybe an insult at the end, but
That's the thing. Jordan Peterson is not an incel.
Exactly.
He's repeatedly telling men not to do that.
Exactly.
Like he has an entire lecture series in like trying to treat incel syndrome or whatever you call it. Like inspiring men to better
most of his
themselves
videos
so that
probably
women
help
will find them
people.
attractive.
Yeah, most of the videos probably help people to not to reverse themselves from being incels, if that even a thing, because that's only a made of word from Reddit and Twitter. Like that's not a real
But
phenomenon.
Olivia Wilde is urging women to fight back against the burning hellfire of misogyny by seeing her movie. But that's not all she's doing to promote her film, since no one's seeing it. Olivia Wilde just freed the nip in a super strong see-through dress pics because her co-star did it. I don't remember her name. Florence Pugh.
Florence.
Was it Florence the star?
Yeah, Florence Pugh wore a dress where you could see her nips,
and it was disgusting.
And it made Olivia Wilde jealous. So she did it too. So people will see her movie. Wasn't she just complaining about like misogyny and hellfire?
Yeah, but he's jealous. She's jealous of her boyfriend having a candid scene with Florence.
That's true.
Why did you cast her? Why didn't you cast yourself? Maybe you're too old for the role.
Oh man, that's all the breath I have on about Olivia Wilde. But here we go, guys.
What?
Because House of the Dragon sucks, right? So here are 10 fantasy shows that are way better than House of the Dragon.
Oh no! Let's go. Rings of Power.
Let's go down the list. What's better than House of the Dragon? Penny Dreadful.
My wife watched the first episode of that, and she said it wasn't that appealing.
I've never even heard of it.
I've heard of it.
It's kind of like a horror gothic show type of thing.
Okay, but that's not like high fantasy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not the same kind of fantasy. It might be a sort of fantasy, but it's not high fantasy. No.
Oh, it's got Frankenstein in it. That's better than House of the Dragon, guys. Okay, The Mandalorian has creatures and stuff, and it's in space.
And it's more in space than House of the Dragon.
The space not real, guys. So space is fantasy.
I mean, that's a good. It's a good show, but I wouldn't put it in the same category as House of the Dragon.
It's kind of completely different
in the world. Yeah,
it's a sci-fi.
It's
I
not
really
real,
like
guys.
it. It's a space opera. It's a space western.
But
It's like all those
but
other
House
things.
of the Dragons has dragons in it, and the Mandalorian has creatures in it.
It has a crate dragon.
It has a crate
And that
dragon,
makes it better than House of the Dragon, everybody.
That's almost a dragon, bro. You're nitpicking.
It's almost in season 1 or 2,
Season
the
2.
crate dragon. It was called a dragon.
That's what I said.
It's better than House of the Dragon, everybody.
And what I will say, I love Mandalorian. I am a big Star Wars guy. That's why you brought me on in the first place, was because I'm the Star Wars guy. I really like Mandalorian. I might choose to watch Mandalorian over House of the Dragon, but House of the Dragon is a much better show. Like, it's a much better told story. Like,
Here we go.
Overall, yes.
I love
rocks
the
for Jared.
Mandalorian, but yeah.
Mandalorian is good for Star Wars fans, but overall,
It's a better crafted show, yeah.
Everyday people is
But this is only number 9. There's so many more shows that are better than House of the Dragon.
Let's see what else is better than House of the Dragon.
Midnight Mass prides itself. Honestly, Midnight Mass is really good.
It is a good show.
It's not better than House of the Dragon.
No,
Watch
no,
Midnight
it
Mass though. It's freaking
solid.
good.
Now I would say his first show that he made, Haunting of House on the Hill.
House.
Yeah.
Haunting of Hill House, you mean?
That might yes, Haunting of Hill House. Yes,
Hill House. Yeah.
The Haunting of Hill
That
House.
was
Oh my god!
I
Shut
think
up!
that's
Shut up!
probably
The
better than House of the
Haunting
Dragon.
of Hill House.
Yes.
There you go.
Bly Manor was terrible. Don't watch that one. Midnight Mass was good, but Hill House I think might be.
Bly
better
Manor
than House
was
of the Dragon,
okay.
because it was
Not nearly as good as
so good.
Hill House, though.
Hill House was
And
fantastic.
Midnight Mass was pretty solid. It was it got a little wonky at the end, but yeah.
Great performances
The last
overall,
the
at
last
least.
episode of Midnight Mass is a little bit of a misstep.
Yeah.
But the core concept of the show is so freaking good it doesn't matter.
And the way they set it up, it really is
it's
one of those ones
brilliant.
where it all builds.
But
and,
the
it's really
parallels, but like I don't want to spoil it, but the parallels between the two things in this show, I never even thought about before, and it's
And you're like,
so
"Ooh,
there are so many parallels, and you're like, well, of course that's what it is.
Of course, that's what he thinks, and of course, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the blood of
There's a lot
Christ,
of-
everybody. It's the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
So
It's
this
so
is
good.
this is the first one on there that I mean they have an argument to be made. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it's better, but it's pretty darn good.
I'm with you there. This is pretty darn good. Not better, but pretty darn good.
Okay, we'll give you one. We'll give you that one. Okay, but there are 6 or
7 more.
Seven
Seven
more. That's how
more.
math works.
there are 7 more shows that are better than House of the Dragon. We got to get to them. Outland.
No. No, move on.
It's got time travel and gorgeous landscapes and boobs.
No.
Never seen it. Most of the things about it.
If House of the
So
Dragon
boring.
wasn't scratching your high fantasy itch, might I recommend a romance?
A period romance with time travel?
Might I recommend a period piece? Perchance? I don't know a single man who's watched this show.
No.
Okay.
My girlfriend maybe watched it, and I was like done after the first episode. I was like, this is so boring. What?
Done with the show or with your girlfriend?
No. Yeah, to be honest. Almost.
Yeah, same here. I only watched part of a show when my wife was watching. I'm like, what is this? This looks dumb. Okay. I'm going back to my video game or whatever I was doing.
True Blood. It's got vampires and angst.
And angsty teens.
Angst
Oh yes.
for years. Like yes, if oh gosh. How is angst better than House of the Dragon? How is angst better than anything? Like what?
It has Deborah Ann Wool.
They
in it,
have
though.
boobies.
She's hot.
Deborah Ann Wool's hot. Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah,
I love some. Oh shoot, what was her character's name in Daredevil? I lost it now.
Oh,
Karen Page. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think they're just going on the sexy factor for this show.
Yeah.
This show was a horny
I'm starting
show,
to feel like that's what they're going for on this list.
Yeah,
I haven't seen a single episode though.
And you're probably like
No, I haven't seen a single episode either, but I know about it. I mean, the show precedes itself, right? It's got its
okay.
own reputation.
There's more. There's so many options,
There's
guys.
more.
Stranger Things is better than House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
because it's about creatures and friendship.
Yeah.
Because
It's,
House
again,
of the Dragon was known for its friendship storylines.
completely different genre, but okay, you picked another decent show. Yeah.
Another solid show that I again would not necessarily say is better than House of the Dragon, even just in terms of like crafted show, storytelling, and all that. But it's still good. It's still fun and enjoyable. Sure.
I'd say
I mean,
so far.
season 1, 2, and 4, but the season 3 was like,
It's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
It's not better than House of the Dragons.
It's the best thing that
it's a completely
Netflix
different
has.
genre. Yeah, it's the best thing. It's the best thing Netflix has done.
For sure.
For sure.
The Witcher has dragons.
That's a good pick.
There's
again,
like one.
It's not.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah,
better, but I think it's on par. I guess
There is
with a
one
lot of-
episode with a dragon.
Yes. But we don't
So they
really
just
see it
mistyped
much.
that S. The Witcher has dragon and more.
Dragon.
Yeah.
It's got Henry Cavill.
Yeah,
So
but for once they picked a good show.
Good show.
It's well made. It's
Well,
fantasy.
season 1.
It's actually fantasy.
Yeah, so this is the most accurate
Closest
pick
that
on
they've
their list,
gotten
I would
yet.
say. What's number 3?
Oh no, your wife and Mark Clark are simping for Outlander right now. So
Oh no.
Well, sort of. Mostly just Marcus simping for Outlander.
I think Martina's simping for Henry Cavill right there.
Yes.
Okay.
And
All
for
right,
Hot
well,
Wheels.
Although she
House of the
has
Dragon.
watched Outlander.
Well, there's more.
I mean, if
There's
Outlander
more
is
shows out there.
faithful, you can respect that. At
Yeah,
least.
yeah. You know, that's
Yeah.
fine. It's just it's not for me.
It's way better than Rings of Power and Wheels of Time.
I'll give him
way
that.
better. Outlander.
I'll give him that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see, if that were the comparison, then all of these shows, like you could make a list of 100
That-
shows that are better than.
They just mistyped it, guys.
Yeah, 100
10
fantasy
shows that are better than the Wheel of Time.
And then 100%. It actually should be 100 shows that are better. But that literally was when it first pulled up. Was my first thought was that they were talking about Rings of Power, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get these are gonna be some good. I'm saying better than House.
It's
of
okay.
Dragon.
There's more. There's more, guys. The Sandman, which
Haven't seen
still
it.
hasn't been renewed for a season 2 because it did not perform well at all.
Yeah. Nobody
I heard
wanted
good
to watch
things,
after the
but-
first
Because
episode.
the second
It was
half of the
really-
show
yeah.
completely fell apart.
I
need to
watched
watch
the
that one.
first episode and I was like, well, it's an interesting concept. but
it's interesting
and
and
it has
and
great visuals, but
I would say the first half of the show is good.
But it feels
then
so postmodern.
It's horrible. I
Feels just
hated it.
Postmodern art just feels like that.
And just repeatedly horrible miscastings. Like so
And
many characters are.
The other thing is that this
Yeah.
one is the one that is probably another source of the reason that they had that article of like, will She-Hulk have a surprise episode? Because this one had a surprise episode.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I haven't seen the surprise episode, and I don't want to.
Well,
It's not better than
Apparently
House
it's
of the
extra
Dragon.
weird. It actually might even be 2. But
It's definitely not better than House of the Dragon because House of the Dragon has been renewed for season 2 as soon as the first episode premiered.
yeah.
So
There's more.
There's that.
But wait, there's more. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is better than Game of Thrones.
What is
I
this
would dare
article?
to say the House of the Dragon is better than Games of
It
Thrones.
is. House
Yeah.
of the Dragon
Has
is better.
better budget. And
What
it
is this
makes-
article? But
I can
Please
guess
tell me
number
they're
one.
not
I
going
can
to
guess
say
number one.
what
Yes.
number 1 is.
They're going to say.
Please tell me.
They're going to say.
don't worry, guys.
By no metric.
Because
mean-
there
By
is
no metric.
there shut shush, 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 shush. There is one show above all shows.
One
that
show
is-
to rule them all.
That is leagues better than House of the Dragon. And you should be watching it instead of House of the Dragon. It's Rings of Power, everybody.
Nope.
Material,
I quit.
material fantasy based prequel.
Did you leave too? It's so pathetic
Oh my
how
God.
people continue to to shill for this show and make excuses for it. It did not deliver.
I figured out what the article was. It was paid advertising. That's what it was.
Well, that's the thing too, is even people who were enjoying Rings of Power were like, no, House of the Dragon's way better. Like
in every way.
Read the last line. The series marks off all of the check boxes needed to tell the story adequately.
Adequately.
The mystery box.
It doesn't even do that.
Checking boxes, all right, just not the ones we care about,
and not very adequately. Even half of those ones, and it's like, it's not even actually doing the adequately. But guess what? Guess what? House of the Dragon is doing it exceptionally. Like, come on.
Yes, with
This
the
is a good
exception
point.
of that last episode.
It's a good point. I'm jealous of Game of Thrones fans because even though their show ended horribly and everyone hated it, they at least got a few really good episodes. What did Lord of the Rings fans get from Rings of Power?
Yeah, that hits. That hits.
We got some beautiful visuals and endless memes.
We did get memes. That's true.
You have much more appreciation for the Hobbits, the Hobbit movies, and for the obviously for the original trilogy.
You gain appreciation for well-told stories of the first.
Yeah, I'm tempted to rewatch the Hobbit movies, and I don't really like them.
Yeah, I mean, don't watch the first one; just watch the other ones. Just skip through the dumb dialogue on the first one, and you have
the first one's got that song in it though at the very beginning. The Misty Mountains.
Yeah, I like the first one. I think the third one was just a bunch of fluff.
Yeah, you just mute it for the first minutes.
But the third one has that song from Billy Boyd. So.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good song. I sometimes when I just like want to cry, I just pull up that song and just listen to it.
Yeah.
Just watch the end of the Return of the King. You bow to no one.
Well,
it gets me every time.
More. The rest of these are about Rings of Power. The Rings of Power season 2 will tell a story Tolkien never explored.
And that's why nobody cares.
Never wrote it because he never wrote it.
That's why we don't want it.
Yeah.
Moving on. If you want to know, it's because they're going to ruin, fine.
Never did. Yeah.
Who cares? Rings of Power writer addresses early episode backlash. So
just the early episodes?
Yeah, because there was backlash, and so here's what they talked about in the writer's room and what they took into consideration, which was, spoiler alert, nothing. Here's the quote. Oh, gosh. With any adaptation, and especially such a significant, well-loved adaptation, I think that there's always going to be people who it's not exactly the way that they would see it. And obviously in TV and movies, you have to make some sort of changes for the story. TV is a different medium than a book. And for the way that the story is going to play out, Hutchinson responded. So we really did focus on making sure that we were going to be doing the best that we could for the story itself, while also keeping Tolkien present in the room, locked in the closet. And all the major points that were established in his works are imbued as much as possible in every way with what we are doing, even if the literal events are not in the book. So immediately contradicting yourself.
Yes.
So it's kind of that balance. It can be a little challenging, so we really focused on telling the best story we could while remembering whose story we were telling, and really making sure that we were remaining true to that spirit, which, interesting, doesn't address any of the backlash. Moving on. Rings of Power, Galadriel's moral struggle mirrors this classic sci-fi series. That's right. Galadriel is like Doctor Who because he was conflicted with killing the Daleks. But if he killed the Daleks, then that would make him a genocider, and that would make him just as bad as the Daleks. Except that in Rings of Power, Galadriel was totally fine with doing a genocide.
Yes.
Yep.
She think that was the good thing to do.
There wasn't a struggle there. She was saying maybe I should just do this, and she was about to do it, and she was told stop, and then she didn't do it. There was no struggle for her
The show
about
tried to tell us that was that there was a struggle. Like
Even what
Andor
they were
told
trying to
her
tell
there was
us.
a struggle, but her character was not struggling.
Right.
The writing was not her struggling. The writing was she wanted to do it. She got really, really mad, and Halbrand told her not to. And then she didn't.
Yep. And then
she was
magically
like,
the next
that was a bad
episode
idea. I
after the
shouldn't have done it.
volcano explodes, she's like, "Oh yes, don't put those feelings from your heart because that corrupts your soul, Theo." It's just like, shut up. You were doing the same thing
from a lot of
episode.
experience, I guess.
Also,
but I haven't seen you come to that realization very well.
Where did that come from?
Just because you're copying something else that's good doesn't make your thing good. You also have to execute it well, which is not the case.
Yeah.
Moving on. The Rings of Power Sauron twist worked because the clues were there the whole time. Some might argue that it didn't work because the clues were there the whole time.
Because too many of the clues were there the whole time.
It smacked you in the face with the clues and said,
Some might
"Hey."
argue that the twist didn't work because it's stupid as heck.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense. Doesn't fit anything from the
It tried to keep this mystery box and say, "Oh, this person might be Sauron. This person might be Sauron. This person might be Sauron." But no, there's only one person that could ever have been, and everyone guessed it from the get-go. Episode 1.
He said it
If the twist worked, then there wouldn't be an article trying to convince you that the twist worked.
Exactly.
No, guys, don't believe your lying eyes. It was a really good twist.
But the way they're writing this article, it's like, oh, this twist just came out of nowhere, but the writers were so smart because they planted these subtle hints throughout the thing that if you pay attention, you would know. Like, yeah, duh. Everyone knew. Every single person knew.
The showrunners executed a perfect twist by slowly teasing Sauron's reveal while never giving away the game or never giving the game away. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
We can play Farmville.
Oh, hey, that's interesting.
Hey.
I didn't know that was.
Sorry, I thought that was part of the article. It was the same, quality. So I just assumed. Is the Rings of Power stranger a wizard we've met before?
Nah.
Yeah.
No, this is the first time we're meeting Gandalf.
It's Gandalf.
The Grey.
I was realizing during your meme edit that opened up the episode, it's like Gandalf really does get thrown around by somebody holding a staff a lot, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so. I hated that scene so much. Like, oh yeah, look, we're doing the thing from the Fellowship of the Ring, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Gandalf.
They all but said
it's Gandalf, guys.
Yeah, and
they
see,
did everything except for say Gandalf.
That would have been a really awesome reveal if they made you think it was Gandalf, and whoa, it's really Saruman. Or they made you think that Halbrand was Sauron, but no, he's gonna end up being the Witch King of Agmar. That would have been smart. That would have been a good reveal. And then you're like, wait a minute, who the hell is Sauron? It's everything. All the reveals were completely lackluster. No bravado, no surprise.
Because you can do a mystery box, but if you do it great,
consider Gandalf.
Yeah.
Is the Rings of Power stranger even a wizard?
They say explicitly it's an Ishtar.
Maybe it's just me, but if he's doing a magic, he probably a wizard.
No, he's an avatar, bro.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize.
But thinking maybe I tell you, bro, he's an avatar. He controls the the eyes,
elements,
and the fire, and
Martino's got it. He's not a wizard. He's a peril.
What is the
peril? Yeah.
What is the stranger trying to tell Nori on the Rings of Power? That he's Gandalf.
No mystery. What?
I don't understand. Yes, yes. He says the thing about the nose,
following the nose, and
and he made his moths,
and the song and.
And it kind of
And what
looks
she
like it.
says, yeah, what she says on the
And
mountain.
he has now a reason to like hobbits more.
It's just like the Sauron reveal, like Gandalf reveal. There has been so many clues. You have to be a dumbass to not know who is Gandalf or who is Sauron at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's why when they tried to it was like they were trying to bait and switch you with the idea when they say you are Lord Sauron. You're like
the problem was they were never trying to do that. We put a lot of thoughts, like we were the whole time we were saying like, oh, it would be cool if it turned out it was Saruman or if it turned out it was the Witch King of Agmar. But these writers never even occurred to them.
Well,
we
that's
were
the thing
giving
is,
them way too much credit. We
in
were
that
saying,
finale,
oh,
they had
maybe it's not going to end up being Gandalf, and that would actually be kind of cool.
And the Nazgûls sitting there and saying
episode,
you're Lord Sauron, and it's like that was so undercut because first of all, we were already starting to figure out that it's Halbrand. We were pretty sure it was Halbrand anyway. We were 99% positive. And then within the same episode, you immediately pull that rug out from underneath. If they started out when he first showed up and they were like, Lord Sauron has arrived, or something like that, then you're like,
of all the possible people Sauron could have been, like the stranger was the worst candidate because he just showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was so ridiculously thought out. Like, I don't know what they were going for.
It wasn't.
It was really annoying. That part was really annoying.
Okay. Yeah. There's more, guys. Shows like The Rings of Power and She-Hulk have been runaway successes. Why can't keyboard warriors just admit it? Happily, these shows have proven to be huge hits, extremely popular with audiences and critics alike, despite the trolling. I forgot to bring up this article, but this is a lie. There is now undisputed physical evidence that the Rings of Power viewership dropped 40% between episodes 2 and 3.
Oh my gosh.
They released the first 2 episodes all at once, and I knew that a lot of people would watch it.
Yeah.
And half of the people who watched those episodes stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad. That's really, really bad.
Runaway success, everybody.
And I wonder what's the numbers for the 3 to 4 episode, because one of my best friends, he's a huge Lord of the Rings fans too, and he's like he actually got me into the whole universe, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And he watched the first 2 episodes. He was like, no, it's not that bad. But after the episode 3, holy moly, he was like, no, bro, you were right. Like, this show is garbage. Like, I'm not watching anymore. And maybe it's going to go lower, probably up to 60%, in my opinion.
But
if you think the viewers running away is what makes it a runaway success,
though.
Like Martina's got the right comment in there. I think viewers running away makes it a runaway success.
Like that's
succeeded at running away its viewers.
Like you know that it dropped more than that, because 40% is just the first drop. Like episodes 1 and 2 don't count because they came out at the same time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So between the first airing and the second airing, you lost almost half your audience.
Yeah.
And episode by episode, it only got worse and worse.
Yeah.
So you know it kept dropping, and they're not going to release those numbers.
Typically, all episodes or all shows follow the same pattern. Their first episode has a lot every season, and then it dips down and is kind of low, and then the finale has more, but never as much as the premiere. The premiere always has the highest.
You'll occasionally get those shows that will, week 1 and then week 2, week 3, week 4, and things like that that'll build up. But yeah,
sure.
Except that House of the Dragon has been growing by 2% with each episode.
Yep.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. Yep.
Dahmer 2 was a show that never stopped, getting viewers. I think each week, even though the whole season was led, Dahmer was leading the rankings for a long time, right before the House of the Dragon started getting the big popularity that now has.
there were a couple of weeks where She-Hulk was beating Rings of Power.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
sad.
That's sad. Yep.
Yeah, I was wondering which is the worst show, She-Hulk or House of the Dragon. That
or Rings of Power, you mean? Rings of
Rings of
Power is
Power,
worse.
yes, sorry.
Rings of Power is worse.
Yeah, probably, yes.
Here's the article with that talks about that.
Yeah, 71 are millennials, obviously.
Oh, I hate this. Yeah. This is also bad. 70% of the show's audience is over 35 years old.
Mm-hmm.
The demographic that you want is 18 to 50.
Yeah.
Which is 70% of the people watching House of the Dragon.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of ages.
Wow.
Everybody's watching this show. Everybody.
So they claimed the first 2 episodes were watched by 12 million people. Episode 3 was watched by 7.
Oh my gosh. That's so bad.
It's horrible. That is
slight decline from its premiere to the second weekend in the US.
I think people criticizing the show are the majority of their viewers. It's some of them, yeah. There's a lot of people that just aren't watching it, and yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of more articles come out saying that Rings of Power was didn't deliver and it was disappointing and that, but then there's still these articles that are trying to prop it up as amazing. I don't get it.
I wonder how much
it's
money.
it's gaslighting. Don't believe your own eyes. The show was really good, we promise.
How much are they paying?
Here's what's really funny. When this was announced, people were saying this will be a disaster. This will end the studio. Do you know who was saying this? Amazon. They literally said, if this show does not perform well, there is no point to us pursuing Amazon Studios.
Yes. Which sucks because, well, there's some things that are good. I don't know if that's from Amazon Studios, The Boys and Terminal List.
The Boys is. Terminal List, I believe, is. I think. I mean,
there's another show I saw a commercial for I wanted to watch. It's called the Peripheral or something.
Ooh.
It's funny. It
looks pretty good.
It's funny you should bring up the Peripheral because it's already knocked out Rings of Power in the number 1
I want to watch
I wasn't planning on bringing up that article. Hold on.
That's funny. I mean, of course, it did have its premiere this week.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean...
But it's been a week.
Yeah.
I don't think they are talking about first season, though. They are talking about the whole show. Because if the whole show flops, it's going to be like, imagine how much money. 2 seasons is $1 billion. It's supposed to be renewed for 5 seasons already. So it's like going to be $2.5 billion. That's insane. The studio is going to go down, literally.
Here we go. Got to pull up another freaking article. Rings of Power dethroned as number 1 Prime show by new series Peripheral. So that's it. That's the article.
That's it. Yep. It's just listing the top shows. Yeah, it just came out of nowhere. I saw one episode.
Reacher is still at number 3 because people loved it so much.
Yeah. Vikings too. I know the normal.
Terminal List. The Boys. Yeah.
The Boys has been over for a long time.
I agree.
Like
4 more.
Time. Ambulance is number 10.
That's just a movie. That's just a movie. That's not even a show.
Yeah, and it wasn't a great one at that. It wasn't even a great dumb action movie at that. It was
right there.
Was that a Russo brothers or was that Michael Bay?
Michael Bay.
Michael.
Yeah, okay.
I watched that one. It was.
Was there an ambulance in it?
Yeah, Norman exactly was the other movie.
There was some
Northman-
explosions.
Northman
I thought it was Vikings.
Northman was pretty intense. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that
that's a
that
movie
was-
too, not a show.
Yeah. Now it's
But yeah,
over.
that's not looking good for Rings of Power. I can't wait till they finally release the
I agree,
viewership
Mark.
for the rest of the episodes because
they'll probably
I'd be
hide it. I don't know
interested.
if they ever will.
Should we review the Peripheral on the show? I don't know.
I'd be down. It looks pretty good.
I'll be down too if it's good. Like maybe it's worth it.
If you want, I'll check it out.
It depends on it's the creator of Westworld, which depends. Like season 1 of Westworld or the rest.
Maybe he learned his lesson.
Okay, there's one more article. There's one more take, guys. Now that it's over, let's come out and say it. The Rings of Power was a stinker. Here's why this pisses me off. Because it's so disingenuous. You could have been saying this from the beginning when it was obviously a stinker.
Yeah.
But people like Stuart Heritage, unfortunately, get paid money by Amazon. And I'm not saying this lightly. It's been confirmed that a lot of these news outlets are contractually prevented. They're contractually prevented from saying anything negative about a show until it's over.
Yeah.
It's not the case with everyone, but there are several news articles that are basically bought and paid for. This happened with a YouTuber that I really respect, Daniel Green. He's the guy that convinced me to read the Wheel of Time books.
Wow.
And I still think that he does some good stuff on his channel. But he recently, after the Wheel of Time ended, did like a post-mortem on the Wheel of Time. And he said the entire time the show was going, he was shilling for it. And then after it was over, he straight up said, some people have accused me of being a shill for the Wheel of Time. And that's not the case. And now Rings of Power is coming up, and I feel weird because and I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, I don't remember word for word. But he said, it will be interesting to be able to talk about a show where I'm legally where I can legally freely talk about a show. So in the intro of his video, it's like, guys, I'm not a shill, and then admitted that he had a contract with Amazon and he was incapable of criticizing the show while it was airing. And that's the case with a lot of these news articles, a lot of these journalists.
Yeah.
And that's why this pisses me off, because
that's super unfortunate. And I agree. It's pretty ridiculous. But I do think that there is some merit to waiting till something is over to review it. That being said,
that's not the case here.
Exactly. He could have been giving his opinions the whole time and saying, hey, it's not looking good.
Now that it's over,
turn around or something.
You mean now that I'm able to say it?
Yeah.
The Rings of Power is a stinker.
I mean, at least he said it. You know, there are people that
Agreed.
are going to die on their grave and then never going to acknowledge that the show was bad. They're always going to say that they were right, and because that's more important for them to having a fan base.
Those people are clinging on to their access. So
mostly that, yes.
Yeah, so I do respect. And Daniel Green did criticize Rings of Power, but he waited till it was over as well. But it was just so ironic. It's like, people are saying that I've been bought and paid for, and that's not the case. That being said, it's refreshing to be able to finally legally talk about the show and give my opinion.
And I bet this Stuart Heritage guy probably the reason that now is criticizing the show is because he knows that there's in no way is going to jeopardize his career. He's not going to get invited to any more parties probably.
Now that he's seen the consensus is, everyone knows it's bad. It would look really stupid if he kept doing it, and it might be that it was him, or it might be that it's the Guardian wasn't allowed to. There's so many, but like there are so many instances. The super fans, right? You remember the super fans that came out before the show, and they were flown to England for the premiere, and they had a huge,
couldn't wait to see it.
huge live stream where they talked about how excited they were, and one of the gay hosts said he wanted to have sex with Sauron. You remember remember the super fans?
Yep.
Once the show aired, no one heard a word from them because they were paid actors. One of them on TikTok released a video saying, someone asked him, "Have you watched Rings of Power?" And he said, "No, I'm planning on. I wanted to watch House of the Dragon first." These are the super fans, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, I cannot believe that. Like, you get paid for literally watching it. To literally say that you're a super fan, and you cannot even watch the show.
Evil for calling it out.
Yes.
Like it's not a conspiracy theory. Like, it's proven that this is happening, that Amazon is paying people to shill for the show. But if we point it out, we're patently evil.
Yeah, we are trolls and stuff. Yes.
That's all the bad takes, everybody. Yay. Oh, except no, there's a bonus bad take.
Is it going to air next week?
There's a bonus bad take.
Bonus episode
from my favorite actor of all time, Simu Liu, the star of
Shang-Chi.
That's what it was called.
Kim's Convenience.
Shang-Chi. He said something on Twitter this month that I wanted to talk about because it's retarded. Wouldn't it be great if in high school, instead of the quadratic equation, I had learned to love myself instead? That's not what school is for, you moron. That's what dads are for. That's what parents and family exist for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
School is for math.
Exactly, for learning.
And I'm really sorry that your parents never taught you to love yourself. I feel really bad for you. But that's not the point of education.
I like my wife's comment. You're supposed.
If you have... Sorry, I accidentally clicked on a video. Go on. What?
So my wife in the comments there, you're supposed to hate yourself a little bit in high school, right?
Right?
Yeah, supposed to be part of growing up, to learn to
learn and overcome that and everything. Like, I can get the idea behind the sentiment. I'd wish, it'd be great if high schoolers could figure out how to actually embrace themselves and be okay with who they are and as they're growing and all that. But yeah, that's not what high school's for.
This is the dumbest thing. And he said some really dumb things. This is the dumbest thing he's ever said. Yeah. Remember when he said there weren't enough Asian people in the Rings of Power?
Did you say that?
Yeah, he was calling it out. Oh, there's not enough Asian people cast in Rings of Power because that's what it's about.
And again, it's like, hey, if you're making it all about trying to really push the representation, well, you didn't make it perfect. You're pretending like you were doing perfect, but you didn't make it perfect.
Here's a palate cleanser, though. It's not a meme. It's just someone who's good at Photoshop. They fixed.
Nice.
I like that.
Nice.
That looks so much better than what we got.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what he looked like before.
He had
that does look good.
Front half shaved like a buzz cut.
This.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's worse than I remember it being.
It's so bad. Like, what are they going
That's
for?
a shade.
It's because the show is made by people who hate comics.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's You're thinking
But
about
they
it
are
too much.
gonna, yeah,
The
they're gonna
answer is
double back
simple.
on that. They're gonna double down on that probably. And for World War Hulk or whatever, they are gonna give him that haircut, and it's just gonna be so bad. That movie's going. Who's gonna watch that movie after they announced it
No one.
so randomly on She-Hulk, and the worst show in television history, probably.
Marvel's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll still be there. I'll still be standing for it, but yeah.
Wakanda forever.
Well, if they keep making garbage, I'll keep calling them out. But
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm not gonna watch. I'm just gonna rip it apart.
I can always pirate it.
Mhm.
I mean,
Like I said-
I can always pay to see it in theaters.
Yes, that's what you meant.
That's what I meant.
No, the Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is the only one that I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, but that's the
And
last.
just because I don't know.
That's
I want
the-
to see how they pull it off. Without
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman.
I know
But-
Alan's going to try to kick me out of the stream for this, but I'm excited for the new Ant-Man one too. Should be good.
That's
Yeah,
the last
I don't
shot,
know.
like
I
they
don't know
had.
anything about it, but-
The only one that could possibly be good is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yes, Guardians of the Galaxy
will be good.
3.
I don't know what the
I
heck
forgot about
you guys
that
are
one 'cause
smoking.
that's been in
If you
development
think that
forever.
Ant-Man and Wakanda Forever are possibly going to be good, the only reason I would want to see Wakanda Forever is out of morbid curiosity. It would be like going to the zoo. I just want to see how bad it is.
Yeah.
So
The bag of rocks.
There's your rocks.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
I've been getting them all night. I'll take
Yeah.
it. I'll stand for things. I'm loving it. I will
I
have
hope-
fun
I
watching
hope-
these things, even if they're not amazing. I wish they'd be amazing. I've missed the amazing things, but yeah, I'm having fun with them. I'll have fun with them anyway.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't show up as as
Yeah.
the actual image in the chat, only on YouTube.
As a third party. I hope that emoji is adequate for you, Clark. I tried doing
Martina, pay attention to
I
my
tried
name.
making it a bag of rocks, but the problem with a bag of rocks is you can't see the rocks. So
Yeah, they're just
I settled for a pile
bag.
of rocks.
It works.
Joke's on you. Other Jared is an avid rock collector. At this point, it's all right.
It wasn't before, he is now, right?
So Star Wars
Right.
happened in Andor.
That's fair.
Andor's,
That's fair.
Andor's still good. It probably was
Second worst
one
episode.
of the weaker
Yes.
episodes, but it was still
The worst
good.
episode was still the
It was
second.
slower, but it was still there. There was a lot of really good stuff in there, I thought.
This episode felt unnecessary to me.
Mhm.
I didn't dislike it. It wasn't like episode 2 where it just doesn't need to exist, but it repeated a lot of stuff that didn't need repeating.
Yeah.
Andor's character regressed, and I didn't find him interesting in this episode. Like I liked him in the last 3, and now he's just gone straight back. And like the whole purpose of this is to get him to hate the Empire, but like I feel like he already has reason to hate the Empire.
I don't think this is supposed to make him hate the Empire anymore because he already did, but hopefully it's making him get to a point where he's willing to actually fight it as opposed to just trying to run from it or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like they could have done that with the death of the kid. Instead of him getting
he was too
arrested.
emotionally
But he's
unattached.
not super attached to that kid.
And I'm
I
saying
think
they
it's
could
going to happen
and that's my
later
point.
when he
They
reads
could
the
have done it better.
journals.
They could have done it better. I
I-
think that this episode is unnecessary. It's still fine. It's still better than any Star Wars Disney has made, but it could be more concise.
I think
at
that
this
was
point,
necessary.
I'm
in
really
terms of-
feeling the length, which is crazy because I'm tired of these shows that are coming out nowadays that only have 5 episodes.
Only-
Like I was
yeah.
excited to hear a 12 episode season, but it doesn't quite deserve it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will have to see, but
I agree.
see
This
where it
episode
leads to.
was more of kind of following up from the previous episode and setting up some very minor things for the next episode arc.
Next arc, yeah.
But
that's where
yeah,
I think that.
I also
I still enjoyed it.
I want to qualify. I am being more critical because the show raised the bar on itself.
That's fair.
True.
No.
Very true.
Like I'm more nitpicky because it has more potential to be good.
Yes, but the thing with this show in general and the issue with the 12 episode run is that they are changing for some reason writers and directors. You can tell, you can really tell that this is a different person behind
Yes.
the show.
Yes.
Literally, it's a completely different show. It feels as just as the same as the first two episodes, unnecessary, full of pointless, meaningless dialogue. And
The security guard is
This was a lot
still
of really
eating
good-
his cereal for like the
That's-
fourth
that's-
episode in a row.
those things are just
that has dragged on a
forward,
little bit,
like.
but I don't know. You're setting up him getting into the Empire and starting his
and you can do that, and you can do that faster.
in one scene.
Right.
You can't do
That's
that
the thing.
in
That's
one
all
scene.
this episode was setup.
Just setup,
nothing
yeah.
else happened.
I didn't
But it
mind
wasn't
that.
set up for anything, in my opinion. Like just saying, I don't know. It was one of my least favorite episodes, just because of the plot twist that happened with the imperial officer. No, not imperial officer. The general,
security guy?
the woman. I'm a call General Karen because I love to call her Karen.
I actually really liked her in this episode. I thought her arc was the best.
She
the
was
most
she was
interesting part.
best. She was the best, but it was really weird. The decision was just rewarding her for breaking a lot of rules. It was not consistent.
But she wasn't
with
breaking any
the whole
rules. That's the thing. She
No,
wasn't.
she was breaking a lot of rules.
not at all.
He did
She
tell
was
her to
breaking
stop
rules.
doing it.
She
Her
was
boss said you got to cut it out.
She didn't follow the procedure for checking out those things, so she did break the rules.
But she's
But
just been
it was
given.
her
She's just
job
been
to
given
investigate that,
new procedures that it doesn't matter. You can do this
Yes.
now however you
The-
want because of what happened on
Yes.
Aldani.
But
And,
what I
and
mean
that's the
is
thing
that-
too is he said don't come to me unless you have actually something more substantial. And she said now I've got it because I was able to get the
Yes.
stuff. I've got the right information for you. She wasn't.
But
she
I
didn't do
mean,
anything
in
wrong.
previous episodes, she was just now that the feeling of the supervisor and everyone around her was like she was the nagging one and she was doing everything wrong, and that was the feeling. So it was really weird. It came out of nowhere, in my opinion. But you're right. She at least had the good information. No, she got the a bigger a bigger piece of information to give to the boss.
And
but the
that's-
boss
that's exactly
still,
what she says in it,
yeah,
too, is
and
she
the boss
says,
still
"Here it
said,
is," yeah.
"Watch your back because you're messing up. You watch your back. You know, you cannot always do these kind of things." Yes,
And I think to me what that's really setting up is the fact that like the Empire and the ISB there is just so bureaucratic. It's just so messed up that all he cares about is he doesn't care about who was right or who was wrong in terms of figuring out what's going on or what needs to actually be taken care of. He was just like status and the prestige and the other guy in particular was just like, no, I don't want her messing in my area, but he wasn't doing anything about it. And then when it turned out that she revealed that there was problems going on in his sector that needed to be taken care of, he was like, okay, yeah, you're out of there. And it's a really interesting like setup for me, at least, that it's showing how messed up the Empire is. And it's laying those groundwork, exactly what you see in the trailers of like, they're so fat and happy. They're just assured of themselves that whatever they're doing is just the right thing to do. And I thought that was beautiful, and I really did like how that paid off with that aspect there.
I think I mostly liked how it ended with the
him
boss
saying,
guy saying, "Well played, but
Watch your back."
now you have to watch your back." And I liked that they're all villains. You like I like this infighting between the bad guys. I think it's really interesting storytelling.
And the other thing that I really liked about the episode was showing more of that disconnect or the not being on the same page of the people on the rebellion side. So you've got Luthen, who set up the whole sting in Aldani, and then Mon Mothma going, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?"
To kind of parallel the discord with the bad guys as well.
Yeah, well, and it's a different kind of discord because you can see someone like Luthen as somebody who's going to be more like
take more risks.
Well, he's going to take more risks. He's going to be like what's the character's name? He's in Rebels and Clone Wars a little bit, and he popped up in Rogue One. Forrest Whitaker, the poor gullet guy,
Saw
Gerrera.
Saw
Gerrera.
The guy that was completely wasted in Rogue One. Is that what you're
saying?
Yeah. Where it's like he's going to be the kind that does that. And I read the one of the companion books around that, and the idea of him being like he's an extremist. He's somebody who's going to do terrorist things to try to overcome the Empire. That's not what the rest of the rebellion kind of wants to do. And you're seeing that these are different groups and the way that they're trying to do these different things. And while Mothma's taking it too slow, maybe Luthen's doing it okay, but he's going to get people hurt is the reality. You know?
One of my biggest pet peeves is what they did with Saw Gerrera in Rogue One. Nah, I'm just going to decide to die instead.
And the thing that bothered me with the whole thing with Saw Gerrera in Rogue One was the poor gullet thing. He's supposed to be able to tell who's lying, and then he was absolutely wrong about the fact that the guy was lying because the guy wasn't lying. So it's like, what was even the point of that? They didn't quite well, and especially because Saw Gerrera didn't believe him enough that he decided to lock him up. But then when Jyn shows up, he believes her and just goes with it. That was kind of a little bit messy.
It was the weakest part of the movie. It was not
absolutely
thought through. The first half of that movie is super messy, but then the last third is great.
The ending basically.
But yeah, with Andor, we breezed over it before. I wanted to mention when you're talking about the bureaucracy within the Empire guys. That's something that's been hinted at and briefly mentioned in like extended universe and in some of the TV shows that is the reason why the rebellion was able to succeed is because they were so confined into their little compartments, and the rebellion would specifically plan attacks around them so that they wouldn't cooperate. That was a nice touch.
They wouldn't be able to do that.
I like the infighting.
Like that.
I like what's going on with them. I like what's going on with the other guy in Mon Mothma. And the one thing I'm curious about is his cereal guy. The people in the chat seems to think that they're setting up a matricide, and that his mom is part of his villain story. And I think I'm torn. I don't know which direction they're going to go with his character, but I think that one direction is lazy and the other direction is interesting. They could just double down, have him become more extreme and hate Andor and chase him down throughout the show. And that's predictable, doesn't really change anything, and isn't super interesting. I think the better storytelling and what would create a very interesting dynamic in the show is if he joins the rebellion.
Yes,
and
I agree. Like, from the very beginning,
that could be so interesting.
Yeah. From the very beginning, I said that either this guy, the former ISB agent, or the Karen Stormtrooper Imperial officer lady is going to join the rebellion, and I think it's probably this guy. But
they have to do it smartly, because if they don't, it's going to come out of nowhere. Because right now,
that's my problem.
There's no way Karen joins the rebellion. That doesn't work for
exactly.
Her.
And I don't see it working for Serial Dude either, because he's so stickler for the rules. He is a lawful character, period, and the rebellion is not.
Which is why it would be interesting, because he's become disillusioned with the Empire because they don't even care about their own rules.
Exactly. Okay. They don't care about the own enforcement.
And if his character is introduced into the rebellion, he's still going to have that uptight personality, and he doesn't necessarily have to be a good guy.
That's
could
why
be
I think it would
very
be interesting. If you get him in in the rebellion, he would be a very interesting character to be working with them. It's like if you watched Rebels, the
I didn't.
The one droid that they got in there at one point, AP1 or whatever. Again, it's still kid show oriented, but he's a droid that's like all about trying to organize their inventory and being like, oh my gosh, you rebels are, because they kidnapped him from a Imperial thing, and they got him on their side, so he was actually working with them and willing to work with them. But he was like, oh my goodness, these rebels, they're just so haphazard and all over the place. We just need to organize things. And if you get him in there and in that way, that could be interesting. I'm having a hard time feeling like I could see the arc make sense for him to decide to leave. Because
I think that's what they're doing. Like the line that he gave to his new boss. He said,
not good enough.
He said, they killed one of our own, and the Empire didn't even care.
Exactly.
I hope that's where they're going with this.
Yes, and it could be that he doesn't do a full swip and like I'm going to be rebellion. What if he meets up with some people that end up being in the rebellion and he joins them trying to be a plant for the Empire and get information.
That could be.
And then over the course of the thing, he realizes the rebellion is right.
The thing is, we've already thought of like
that
there
could
are
be
already
so interesting.
There are already so many possibilities with this character. Like it would be stupid to just have him double down and hate and hunt down Andor.
I agree.
Yes.
It would be dumb.
I wouldn't mind it. I see where you're coming from, that it's a little predictable, but I would be fine with it because it's what makes sense to me for who he is and what he's been doing. But to your point, like that's a little predictable. So I wouldn't complain about it as long as they set it up well. So
yeah, I hope
maybe
they are not. I hope they do it in a satisfying way.
Yeah, but maybe they don't know if they are going to get a season 2 yet. That's maybe why they said like, okay, make it 12 seasons. Yeah, I mean 12
they've
episodes.
said that they got a season 2, but
yeah, so it may or may not be as official as some other things, but yeah.
But
we can only know until the end of the season, probably.
Yeah.
Either way, he's been eating his cereal for 4 episodes now. Come on.
Yeah, I hate that guy. I hate his arc. I don't hate the actor or his character, but I hate the writing surrounding him.
They probably should have put about half as much of those scenes, because it's one of those things where it's like I think they mostly just wanted us to remember that he's there, and they spread him out too much in sprinkling in little bits of him with the cereal so much.
I would be fine with them just having it in one episode, and then we don't see him for 2 or 3, and then we see him again.
That would be better than the sprinkling.
I think they wanted to be able to get more of the frustration of him with his mother and all of that stuff in there, and that's what they made it sprinkle it instead. But
that was a repeat of the exact same. The exact same scene a couple episodes ago.
On it. It was a little different, but it really served the same purpose. So you're right. Again, to me, it's like I think that they could have done that. You're right. They could have done it with fewer scenes. They could have done it tighter and better. But it didn't bother me as much. It is a little drawn out, though. Yeah.
And that being said, like, these are nitpicks, right? Compared to the rest of the crap that the Disney Star Wars has done, it's the things that we're complaining about for this show are like the little line of dust that you get after you sweep your garbage pile into the dustpan, and there's a little bit left over, right? The things we were complaining about before with Star Wars shows are like these people didn't even bother to sweep the floor, right?
Yeah,
like they threw their script out and no one looked at it, right? Like they made their script, they tidied up, and they left the little line of dirt.
Yeah,
they left the little line of dust.
Few, if any, entertainment is absolutely perfect, but this is good stuff, and there's just those little bit of things.
It's still good. Yeah. It could be tighter.
Yes, it's the best.
I'm enjoying it.
Star Wars has released in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's better is Mandalorian.
Yeah, agreed.
Season 1.
I enjoyed Mandalorian a little bit more, but I feel like this is better written. This is a better presented story.
Yeah, some episodes, this episode was the last episode was
I felt like there was still more
last episode was great.
Meat to it.
The thing about Mandalorian is it's more of a spectacle show and Easter eggs galore, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is more of a slow burn that honestly could be divorced from Star Wars entirely. You could set this in the Blade Runner universe for all I care. It's a good story, and it's Star Wars, and it's just you know that there are Easter eggs in there. There's little things you can pick up, especially in the collector shop. There's a lot of stuff there, but it's not like Mandalorian was like so many Easter eggs. I'm like, okay, I like Star Wars, but come on.
Yeah,
that reminds me.
And to me, I like Baby Yoda just fine, but they lean too hard on Baby Yoda.
They lean so hard, and it's another reason why I was super excited for season 3 because they can do it without Grogu, and then they can come back and have him join season 4 and he's
an emotional
a teenager
reunion
or something. But
no, the Book of Boba Fett decided to be
right back.
Mandalorian 2.5.
Why did Boba Fett have to screw it up?
I think
Very
there was
disappointed with that,
another missed opportunity. I think was when Andor was talking with his mother, and he's trying to convince her to leave with him. Was that this episode or 2 episodes ago?
Yeah, this is this episode.
This one. And she says, no, I can't go with you because look, this thing that happened, the rebellion is finally
that was cool. Yeah,
happening.
It's starting to happen there.
If I were
she was
Andor,
inspired by his heist. Yeah,
and then he said that wasn't part of rebellion. That was just a robbery, right? I think he needed to go further and say, Mom, that was me. And that's why I know, like it was just a job. Like, please come with me, or you're going to die.
But the other reality is he thought it was just a robbery. From his perspective, it was just a robbery. But she is actually right that this is the beginning of a hey, we're standing up.
Yeah, and that's my point. Is that from his perspective, I feel like he would have gone further.
He would have gone further and be like, no, that was just me. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point.
Because he's already saying, no, Mom, it was just a robbery. Like, why you don't need to read into this? And she's like, no, it's part of the rebellion. Mom, it was me.
Yeah.
I agree. I was expecting him to do that too.
Yeah, but they're trying to make him like a great character. They are really, really, really hard trying to make him a great character. He's not good.
Yeah.
He's not a hero. No, he's almost a bad guy. He kills 2 people in the first 2 minutes of the show.
And
now you can argue that's fault. You know,
that's who he was in Rogue One, right?
Sorry, I'm just got inspired. Like that if they went my route, they could have had a great scene after that when he says, Mom, this wasn't the rebellion. This was me. I promise. Like, it was just a job,
just a robbery.
And then she could have delivered a response saying, I wanted more from you, right? Or something like that, or some line of like, look, it may have just been a smash and grab to you, but to the rest of the galaxy, it meant something more, and that's what I want you to. That's what I've wanted you to see your whole life. Like that could have been really good. That could have been great.
Yeah.
I would have fixed the whole episode probably.
Yeah, then I wouldn't have had a problem with this character, and he still could have run off, but he would have been pondering that the whole time.
It would have laid those.
And then when he gets arrested, he's like, "My mom was right." Like even the Empire saw this as not just a smash and grab.
Bigger thing. Yeah. Yep. A couple of interesting notes that I, because I'm a big Star Wars nerd, and I decided to translate a lot of the writing that they had in there.
Arabish.
The Arabish, yep. They in one of the when you see the lady walking around, it's the lady from Luthen's shop, and she meets up with the leader of the rebel group there on Coruscant, and they have that conversation.
Yeah, and apparently, like, the orders are to kill Andor. Like,
that's going to be
is that a decision that lady made? Because that couldn't have come from.
So
I'd be surprised if it came from Luthen, but
have we seen this other rebel lady before? We haven't seen her.
The lady with the red hood. I think the lady with the red hood is the lady that's been in Luthen's shop with him, isn't it?
I don't think
so.
No,
I don't think so.
I didn't think so at first, but I was thinking, like, during the conversation, it made me think that it was.
She's definitely is. No, she's definitely is the assistant. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
She doesn't look as much like it because the assistant usually has her hair up. And she has it down and the hood on and everything.
Oh,
so
she She was kind of attractive in this scene, and so I didn't recognize her.
Because she was talking to the guy, saying that we had to deal with Andor, basically.
So it definitely came from her, not from him.
Yes,
I'm
kinda,
thinking so.
yes.
I'll be curious to see how that plays out. That's one of the things I'm excited about.
Yeah.
She walks past something that's just a couple of like advertisements, and I translated that one. But then when we get to the scene where Andor is being sentenced, there were a couple of things that I thought was interesting. The person before
it was a little
them
forced for me, but yeah,
a little bit. But I was still having fun with the like, hey, I can translate this little thing. The guy that they sentenced before him, she says 4 months, but she does her little like ching ching, and the
stamp
card that she does for him, it says 5 years instead of 4 months. So I don't know if that's just a writing thing or if that's supposed to be some sort of, because with the next one, when they do Cassian, his character, the name that he's going under is Keith Gergo. But
such a bad name.
It's a weird name. It's
bad.
a really dumb name.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a Star Wars dumb name. I mean, you've got Grief Karga, like in Mandalorian.
No,
it's a Star Wars dumb name.
Even as Star Wars crazy names goes, that's a bad name. So what does it say?
The paper actually translates it to Keith Seymour. And so I read that as like they just totally misheard his name and were like, whatever, it's a Keith Seymour, and it was just something totally off. And then on the list of crimes, it actually says on his sheet, suspected force sensitivity, assaulting an imperial officer. I don't think that they're going to lean into an idea of Cassian having force sensitivity, but it was kind of an interesting Easter egg that would be an idea of a crime would be a suspected force sensitivity and things like that. That would be kind of very interesting concept for them to go with. And then in the show, I think they say for him like 6 months, or was it 6 years that they sentenced him to?
It was supposed to be a couple months, and then he kept arguing, so they made.
Oh, that's right. Well, no, it was 6 months, but then because of the Aldani job, they just changed it, and now it's sentenced towards 6 years.
Yes,
but on the paper it says 25 years. So it's like, interesting. And like it legitimately has like the Arabesh numbers and everything. And the rest of it says 25 years if you translate out the rest of the stuff. So I don't know. As the resident Star Wars nerd, I had a fun time looking that up. They had
really
name and sentence and crime and all that on there. It was really fun.
Good night, Jacob. Thanks for joining us.
Good night, Jacob.
Bye, Jacob. Thanks for joining. That's really strange because usually they're very particular about any Orabesh that they have on there because they know the fans like people you are going to translate it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's weird.
They make it at least they made it real words, like because that's the thing is you could just put like garbage Arabesh symbols on there, but
are they trying to?
They made them words.
Feature
but I
not a bug
changed things. And it's one of those things that's where weird. It's like there was a part of me that was wondering if it was a feature, not a bug, because it's like this is how messed up the system is that they're saying this, but then they like actually accidentally pass off a 25-year sentence to something that should have been 6 years or whatever. But it makes me think that maybe there'd been some rewriting and some tweaking of how they wanted to handle it, and that didn't get to the set designers or the whatever else at the right time. So because on his paper it legitimately says Keith Seymour, but like it has everything else in there just right. But ASG.
Interesting. I wonder if that's something they're gonna fix retroactively, like they did with that one extra that showed up in Mandalorian in the background wearing a regular T-shirt, and they just.
I haven't been paying attention, but I haven't seen anybody else call that out, and it's small enough. It really is a blink. Like I literally had to go back and pause it and wait and look through it. So it's possible that it flew by most people, even the fans that would cry out about it. But
did they retroactively edit out stuff from the Mandalorian?
There was one episode. I think it was your most hated episode with the jailbreak or whatever.
Was it that one?
That was my most hated episode is the Ahsoka one in season 2 now though.
Oh yeah.
Really?
It's garbage.
But yeah, it was one episode in some hallway or something. There's some guy just in like a regular T-shirt, and you can see his watch. He just like going.
Okay, that brings up an interesting topic. I am not a fan retroactively changing things.
Mm-hmm.
If it's there and fans, notice it, just leave it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a reward. Like, well, hey, we found a mistake, right?
Yeah.
But
he even had a page on Wikipedia. They made a dedicated page for him.
I remember that.
This is like a very innocent instance of that, where they're like, we made a mistake, so we're just going to fix it later, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it leads to more egregious changes, and in some cases even sinister changes. Like with Stranger Things, they have retroactively edited out scenes from season 1 to make not Will's brother.
Oh,
the older one, Bayer.
Shoot, I'm forgetting his name. Yeah.
You remember in season 1 how he's kind of a creep, taking pictures of Nancy. They edited those out.
Really?
It's no longer part of the show.
Huh. Interesting.
And I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Yeah. That is the problem with purely digital
buy physical media, guys.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That's the biggest thing for holding on to physical media, I think.
But like they're like, oh, we accidentally made a character who wasn't perfect, and we're gonna get and people complained about it, so we're gonna go change it. How about you just in the future you have him grow instead of just pretending like that. That's like the same issue with me, and this is a bit of a stretch, but it's the same itch, the same problem that I have with retroactively making history woke, right? When you get shows like we talked about it on this show, we talked about the League of Their Own, how they are, we put a black person on the team, even though the original story was about a team during the time of segregation when that would have been physically impossible. Like it takes away from the struggles of real life when you have to retroactively solve problematic stuff.
Yeah,
I hate it, and it leads to
struggle. Yes.
Same thing with the upcoming Joan of Arc show too. They're saying that she wasn't a woman; she was transgender the whole time.
No mind daring.
That is the extreme. It starts with
characters.
It starts with, let's just take out the guy in a t-shirt, and then hey, let's change this character's backstory so he's not as much of a creep, and then let's just change history. Like I'm not a fan of it at all.
Yeah,
don't do it ever. If you do it, I take serious issue, no matter how small it is. That's just that's my rant.
This is one of those ones that I mostly agree with you in terms of like it's kind of a small, nothing, innocent thing. It would have been fun to leave in there and still be able to see and point out, little, Easter eggs that us as big fans would know. Because I didn't even catch it during the initial airing. It was one of those things that you saw afterwards that somebody pointed out. It's like
I had checked out. I had checked out during that episode, so I didn't miss it. Like halfway through, I was just like, "This is just the same thing over and over again." Oh, he's gonna. There's gonna be a guy in a hallway, and the Mandalorian is gonna appear behind him, and then I'm like, I was so done with that episode, so I didn't notice.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, Jared. It's the same thing. I wouldn't want another edit of Star Wars where the stormtrooper doesn't bonk his head. I don't want another edit where the guy's not carrying an ice cream maker running down the hall.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the things that little Easter eggs that make it fun. You're like, did you know in this there's this goof? And guess what? We have some in-universe explanation for it now.
Lean into it.
It's
fine. That's what Star Wars can do. It can have fun with it.
And I didn't even like the small edit where they add in the stormtrooper saying "oof," right? Like
he bonks. It's a bonk.
McClunky.
Just
that was McClunky.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you want to go with this, you can say make an in-universe explanation and say, our printers were faulty or something. I sentenced them to 6 years and it said 25 years.
Or there could be a legitimate reason for it, and if they said 25 years. people would revolt. But if they silently say 6 years and
plan to keep him
silently
longer,
commit him for
Yep.
25 years, only one person's going to be able to complain after the fact. And
That makes sense.
That's the explanation right there.
Yep. Be interested to see what happens if they do lean into that. That could be cool.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah, I'm excited I'm excited to end this stream and watch House of the
So,
Dragon.
one more thing before we go.
3.5 hours.
Yeah. One more thing before we go. Theories on Cassian's sister.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I really don't care about his sister. I hope she's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I have a theory for what's going to happen in the next episode. Probably he's going to be released by either the robot, the big robot that got him.
Give me some Alan Tudyk, boys. Like, I could care less about his sister. I hope she died in a brothel. Like, she's not interesting. Who cares?
What if she's Karen Empire? That's interesting.
I don't.
And she race swapped.
Yeah, I was going to
say
it
would be a really dumb reveal. Yeah. Why would that make the show better?
I don't know.
That's the same problem.
He's now going to attach her to somebody in the Empire.
That's the same. That's the same issue I take with the stupid the Rey's lineage and one of the things I really liked about The Last Jedi was the reveal that she was a nobody. I thought that was actually a really good step.
I didn't love that, but.
And then
it turns out she was a
Palpatine the whole time.
I
don't care. All of the fan theories were stupid. She could be Obi-Wan's kid. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I still stand by the fact that the core trilogy of trilogies, the core 9 film, should have been about the Skywalker lineage. So she should have been a Skywalker.
Yeah, me too.
Toss in some Kenobi, sure, whatever. And please do explore non-Skywalker stuff in something else. But for that core trilogy of trilogies, keep her a Skywalker. But actually have her a Skywalker, not a Palpatine that decides to become a Skywalker that identifies as a Skywalker. Like, no.
I identify as a Skywalker. Thank you very much. Please use my preferred surnames.
Yeah.
Gosh, I forget. I'm gonna get pissed off if we start talking about Rise of Skywalker.
All right, go watch House of the Dragon.
Well, I have to finish. I have
this
to finish.
This guy's got a new channel to check out. Some cool stuff on there.
Yes.
Well,
yeah, he didn't show up on time though, so I can't plug it.
Okay. Next week.
I've got like an hour of work to do finishing my last Rings of Power, the Lord of the Memes, and so that'll be out Monday, and then I'm gonna watch House of the Dragon. It's gonna be a good night, baby.
Nice.
It's gonna be a fun time, everybody. David has a channel.
Right.
He does like board games or crap like that.
Which is why he wasn't here on time, apparently. So he's playing board games.
If you like board games, go see Shelf Help Gaming. We get it. It's a pun.
Help yourself to some games.
Help your. I guess I'll link it in the description or whatever. But does everyone go subscribe to the Angry Mexa? Let's get him to 1,000. And
yes.
And then
have you hit 500 yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Nice.
Yes. Hell yes.
Awesome. Halfway there.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything to say?
Yeah, and I hit 4K public watch hours finally.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yes.
Those are harder to get than subs.
Yes. I only need the 500. Yes.
Cool.
Awesome.
We'll get you there.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Yeah, just keep coming on the show, and we'll keep plugging you. So
nice.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. You can join the channel like Mark Clark and throw some rocks at Jared too.
Bring them. I need to work on my collection. Maybe I'll put them on my face instead of a beard.
We'll see you next week. We'll talk about the last episode. We're a week behind on House of the Dragon, guys. I'm sorry, and we'll talk about Andor. And I want to check out Peripheral. Let's not. Did it just premiere? Like, are we missing out on
the first episode? The first episode was this week, I think.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I guess we should probably capitalize on the release, right?
Yes.
What's it rated? MA or?
I have no clue.
Does it have boobies in it? I just don't want to see any boobies. I like my wife. So.
Yep.
I'll watch it.
I don't know.
Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot.
Let's give it a shot. Exactly.
See what it's like. Okay. You don't see what it tastes like. Give it what's that? What is that? What am I quoting? Give it a little taste. See what it tastes like. Oh yeah, Nacho Libre. That's
idea.
Nacho Libre.
Okay, gotcha.
I want to taste the victory. See what it tastes like. It's freaking great. That movie is so
great movie.
It's so accurate too, though, right? Like,
it's so good. Peripheral is rated 16 plus, so probably no boobies.
Okay, no boobies.
Yeah, I was going to say I am seeing their
everybody.
Parents' Guide so far has none on the sex nudity, severe on violence and gore and profanity, moderate on drugs, alcohol, and frightening scenes. So
I'm totally fine with seeing people's heads get ripped off, but I don't want to see no movies.
The trailer,
America, baby.
I'm a good Christian boy. I like good old fashioned decapitation.
But he can keep his tongue.
Yeah. That part was a little cheesy.
That was.
But it was cool because it was Damon.
But you're not surprised at all because I like funny dad jokes. So
all right, we'll see you next week. We'll check out Peripheral, I guess.
Yeah.
Bye.
Check it out.
Bye.
Bye.
What is going on?